You are watching the American Conference on ESPN. A couple of days of rain has given way to a sunsplash Saturday here in Birmingham, Alabama. The band ready to fight on with their Blazers today, but USF is in town. If you blink, you just might miss them. They're walking to the stadium right now, but these USF Bulls will be running awfully soon. Welcome inside the booth here at Protective Stadium. He is the national champion, Forrest Conley. I'm Pete Souza. Forrest, a lot to look forward today on this college football Saturday in the American, and we're lucky enough to have one of the most intriguing matchups in the conference.
Well, for this USF ball club, they are angry, they're frustrated, they want to get back to their winning ways. And for UAB, it's an opportunity, senior day, for these guys to play in front of their family and friends, and they want to have a good showing their last time here at this stadium.
And if that isn't enough for you to stick around, how about the quarterbacks? Let's start with Byron Brown, possibly an overlooked Heisman candidate.
Well, you talk about dual threat quarterbacks. You have quarterbacks that run for first downs. You have quarterbacks that run for touchdowns. He is one of those quarterbacks that can take it to the house. Great looking kid, 6'3", 240 pounds. Reminds me of Cam Newton a little bit. I'm not saying he's Cam, but he's got all those skill sets, and it'll be great to see him this afternoon.
I'd like to see him dress like Cam, right? How about Jalen Kitna on the other side? A big body, a big arm. You know the name. Last year he threw for almost 400 yards against USF.
Well, this guy can get the ball down the field. He can really spin it with the vertical pass game. I think that's what he brings to the table with this offense. He has to be careful and protect the football against this opportunistic defense. He threw 2 interceptions last week. He has to do better with that.
Before we get you to the game, we have to get you updated on a developing situation that took place here in Birmingham this morning. A UAB football player stabbed 2 teammates at the football facility ahead of the Blazers game against South Florida. This game right here. This is what a university spokesperson confirmed to ESPN. The suspect has been arrested. Both injured players are in stable condition at UAB Hospital. While the team elected to play the game, some chose not to play, according to a school official. A UAB official also said the investigation is ongoing and names of the players involved have not yet been released. Tough to pivot from that one to a football game, but we will do our best. As you see Alex Mortensen right there, taking over just a few weeks ago for Trent Dilfer. And he has done a commendable job for us so far as the steward of this program. 1-3, but that amazing upset against Memphis started things off.
Absolutely, and Coach Mortensen talked about the 3 things for this football team to focus on: sticking together, relentless effort, and playing with poise. And that is what you expect to see from this team on senior day, their last opportunity to play in front of their home fans.
UAB won the toss and elected to receive. Solomon Beebe takes it from the 2. He is electric. A 96-yard touchdown return earlier in the season against Akron, thrown down to the turf at the 23-yard line. Jalen Kitna leads his team onto the field. Has had a wonderful career here at UAB, closing in on 4,000 yards. A prolific quarterback with a very big arm, Forrest.
And he needs to lean on Javon Jackson. He had a big game last week in that loss. You know, and that's what you need to do. You got to get that running game going, and I think that will allow Kitna to get the ball down the field, but they need to lean on that running game early, get ahead of the sticks.
There is Jackson. Skirts it to the outside, accelerates. A short gain.
And you see early what South Florida wants to do. They want to get penetration with those interior players, force Jackson to bounce it to the outside. A good job early by that defensive line. They've got to get pushed from the offensive line from those 3 interior players, the guards and the center.
If USF has struggled this season defensively, it's been against the pass. They have been stout against the run, 3rd in the American. Play fake. Iverson Hooks brings it down.
Pass is called by number 0, Iverson Hooks.
Setting up 2nd and about 4.
And that's something else I expect to see from UAB, the quick pass game. Get the ball to your playmakers in space. Allow those guys to get out there and be one-on-one against those defenders. That's where they feel like they have an advantage against this South Florida defense.
3rd and short. Shotgun formation for Kitna. BB motions out of the backfield and now back to it. Flags are thrown.
There's a flag on the play.
Early indication is that it was on USF. Rico Watson ahead of schedule.
And for our fans that saw Logan Moore, number 77, jump off sides, he was influenced by the defensive player. So what happens is, as long as it's instant he coming off sides as a reflection of the defensive player, they're going to call that on the defense.
Either way, first down for UAB from the 35. Kitna changing the play. Play fake, steps up in the pocket, unloads, and turning around to try and grab it was Hooks, incomplete.
There's the flag on the play.
Flag is on the field.
Roughing the passer, number 4, defense, 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
Second penalty of the drive on USF, Michael Williams with the late hit.
You saw Kitna try to go with the back shoulder throw on that play. He didn't put enough on that football. But for USF, you cannot take cheap shots against the quarterback. Once he releases the football, you've got to be able to pull up. You see right here, he hits Kitna in the helmet. You cannot hit the quarterback above the shoulders. They will make that call every time.
So UAB inside of Bulls territory on this first drive. Play fake from Kitna again, stepping up in the pocket again, running out of time. First sack of the game couldn't have come at a better time for USF. Flowers is there to make it.
And you see what USF did? They dropped 7 back into coverage. They rushed 4. You've got 5 to block 4. You should be able to give Kitna the time that he needs. But right there, the left tackle got beat around the edge. Brandon Snee, you've got to have square shoulders. You've got to kick back 3 kick steps, then open that outside shoulder. If you open that outside shoulder prematurely, you're giving up a short corner.
2nd and 14. That was the first sack of the year for Denard Flowers. Interception. Right there is Fred Gaskin, headed down the sideline, knocked out of bounds at the 36-yard line. That is not the start that Alex Mortensen was looking for.
And if you look at this play, he had what he wanted. Evan McCray was open on the crossing route, but you've got to put the ball on your receiver. You see right here, he throws it off of his back foot, and he doesn't throw a proper ball. But Evan McCray had inside leverage on a defensive back. You've just got to put that ball on him. Fred Gaskin just ran to the football. It's almost as if he was throwing to Fred Gaskin.
8th pick of the season thrown by Kitna. Something you talked about off the top. 2nd interception of the season for Gaskin. And here is Byron Brown. 463 total yards last week against Navy. That's just another day at the office for this guy. Off tackle to the left side. Davenport stopped short. This is one of the best quarterbacks in the country, Forrest. If you're watching this, get ready to see him in some tempo. Early fireworks. Is it hauled in? Yes, it is. Down to the 1-yard line. Mudir Rubin.
You see the ability of Byron Brown. He gets outside the pocket. He's able to throw a dime. He's looking at his receiver the entire time. He knows where he wants to go with the football. And what he does, he's allow his receiver to get separation on the outside, and he lays it up to him.
32-yard gain. Here's the tush-push look from the Bulls. It's probably the longest you'll see USF take under center all game long, but it leads to a touchdown. 6-0. Byron Brown had 2 scores on the ground last week. Give him 1 more this afternoon.
And if you saw what Brown did on that play, he allowed the blocking to get going. He knew where he wanted to go. See, he took his time. He didn't just go diving in. You see all of the defensive players from USF diving over the top, and then when he sees a lane, he gets around the edge to the left side of the formation and basically walks into the end zone.
3 plays, 36 yards in under a minute, 55 seconds, coming off the pick by Fred Gaskin. The 21st turnover generated by USF this season leads to 7 points. Byron Brown, 33 of the 36 yards on that drive, in command again. is Byron Brown from Raleigh, North Carolina. Some call it Raleighwood. This kid seems ready for Hollywood. Second in the FBS in total offense at 337 yards per game. First in the FBS in points responsible at almost 20 a game, Forrest, and you see the numbers right there. That includes today's early totals.
Well, I think by the time the season is over, he'll have 3,000 yards passing, 1,000 yards rushing, and he is just one of those guys that you have to pick your poison. You don't know how to stop this guy. You stop the pass, he'll just run by you or run over you. You stop the run, he'll throw the ball over you or throw it by you. So he's just a true dual threat weapon for this USF ball club.
Speaking of weapons, Beebe going to take another crack at it. Here he goes, down the right sideline, across the 40, belted out of bounds. Just the break that UAB needed. Ben Knox rides him out of bounds, but the damage was done.
And a great job by his teammate, Jalen Ferguson, number 3, getting out there and getting the lead block. You see Beebe, he's
first down.
An extremely explosive player, getting to the outside, finding the lane, and getting up the field. Just what the doctor ordered for this UAB offense. You've got great field position. You're right outside the red zone, but you've got to take advantage of it. And once again, Kittner has to protect the football. He's had some opportunities, but you've got to put it on your receivers and allow those guys to be playmakers. And I think you go back to that quick pass game, but also lean on Jackson. He is your weapon out of the backfield.
Just to clean it up, there was an offsides. It was on USF as referee Edwin Lee continues in his mission to talk over us this afternoon early on for us. Shotgun formation. Jackson to the left. Just what the doctor ordered. Short 2-yard game. Or should I say just what Forrest ordered. Let's see if they keep up with that running attack. And those are the numbers so far this season. 67%, almost 2,100 yards, and you do have to tack on one more interception today, so that's 11 touchdowns, 8 interceptions.
And I think you expect to see a little bit more from the touchdown production and a little less from the interception numbers. So, and I think that's improvement that he has to make to be the quarterback that he has the ability to be.
Little hocus pocus. Iverson Hooks gets the short pass, was looking downfield, nothing doing. Whacked down just outside of the red zone.
And I don't know if I like that play so early in the game. I think you have to get established with the running game before you can go at some play action or some trickery to try and get the defense to react. You've got to get some production from that run game first. I think you go with your guy with the dive plays, getting him up the field, getting positive yards. You were at 2nd and 8. I think if you would have been in 3rd and 6, 3rd and 5, you opened up the playbook a little bit more. Now you're very predictable at 3rd and 8.
Coach Mortensen told us how essential it is for UAB to get on the board early. Kittner slings it to the right side. That'll be a first down. Looked like it was short from up here. The chains move, a huge conversion.
And a good job by the young player, Elder, knowing where the sticks are. Too often you see young players that don't find the sticks. Elder did a good job of finding the sticks and coming back to his quarterback and making a tough catch down on his knees to get that first down converted.
Now you see Ryder Burton into the game in pistol formation. The West Virginia transfer started 3 games so far this season for UAB. Quick handoff. Here's Jackson. Short game.
And you see, because Ryder Burton is in the game, the defense has to keep an eye on him to make sure he doesn't pull the ball out at the mesh point. That split second that the linebackers don't react, allow for the back to get up the field and hit the seam.
Jacobs and Jackson flank him right now. High snap. Jackson over the left side looking for running room. Forced out of bounds in a nice play. Closing in on the edge, Fred Gaskin, who had the pick earlier. Loss of 2 yards.
And a good job by Jarvis Lee, number 0, getting up the field, making him stretch that play. You see Jarvis getting up the field. What that does is that allows pursuit to get up the field as well, not allowing for Jackson to plant and get north and south. He had to continue east and west to get past Jarvis Lee.
3rd and 9. Solomon Beebe in the backfield as the door continues to revolve. Back in the game is Kittner, barking the signals. Blitz coming. Beebe had it and lost it. To Todd Orlando dials up the blitz for the Bulls. He told us he was going to pick his spots. He picked the right one there.
Now, interesting enough, they had 3 wide receivers. They went with max protection on that play, but Josh Salazar was still able to get in and get on top of Gitna, not allowing him the extra time that he needed. This ball is a little bit high, but you expect your receiver to be able to go up and get that for you. Solomon Beebe should have been able to squeeze that football. It's not going to be perfect all the time. You've got to help your quarterback out, but I thought with the protection package that they had, Gitna should have had more time.
30-yard attempt by Jonah DeLong is good. He remains the most accurate kicker in the history of UAB. 7-3, Blazers on the board. (7-3) South Florida leads. There is Alex Golish. Immigrated to America from Russia at 7 years old. Lived in New York State. Would force his dad, basically, he told us, to take his dad up to the Merchant Marine Academy in New York to check out the football there, and he volunteered as a water boy. The rest is history. Here he is, one of the hottest names in coaching, and you know, we asked him about that. Hey, you know, your name's out there, there's a lot of rumors and stuff. He said, I don't pay attention to it, but I can tell you that the reason is because of these players I have on my squad.
Absolutely, but the question is, do you believe he doesn't pay attention to it? All the attention that he is getting, I mean, from every Power 4 program that is looking for a coach to lead their program, his name has been mentioned. So I get it, but at the same time, he's got to hear the noise.
Well, the noise sounds pretty good. I mean, because what's the alternative, right? I mean, the alternative is you're no good and nobody's looking for you.
Absolutely, but he does have a great program here at USF, and I think it would be hard for him to leave these kids. They've got a bond here. There's a closeness to this team that you don't see often from a lot of teams, and I think that is why he told us what he told us, where his focus is and where it remains.
And USF, and you know, members around the American Conference, there's a lot more resources here than folks know about. Brown keeps it, RPO, drops it off for Keyshawn Singleton. Singleton Banging his way to extra yards after contact, stopped short of the first down.
And add an extra tidbit to that, too. You think about the addition. They just added Derek Brooks as their COO to their program. I mean, so you've got a Hall of Famer, a first ballot Hall of Famer, my former teammate. So that's a great addition and something that makes it very attractive to stay there.
And next thing I know, they're going to grab Shade Tree Jones. Nobody can use that. That's scary. And by the way, that is scary for defenders trying to stop Byron Brown. You get in his way, that's like a business decision you're making right there.
And that's why I said in the open, this kid reminds me of Cam Newton with some of the things that he's able to do as far as spinning the ball, getting it down the field, but also breaking tackles with the contact balance that he runs with.
9-yard gain there. He's 2 of 2 for 40 yards, throwing it on the ground. He's got 2 carries for 11 yards. Tack on a few more.
And one of the things when we talked to Coach Russ yesterday about defensing Byron Brown, he said, look, our guys are taught you've got to hit him low and you've got to drive through him because he will embarrass you. He will run over you if you try to tackle him up high.
Tackle him like a running back. That's what he told us. Brown, short pass. Just off the mark, was intended for Rubin again. Batted down. And some good, strong defense here by the Blazers, and a huge third down coming up.
And I like what Roy Williams did on that play. He waited till the ball got there to get his hand in there. He did not jump that. He allowed the ball to get to the offensive player, and then he made a play on the football.
First third down for USF this afternoon. 46% on the season on third downs. Davenport is the running back as Brown barks the signals. Straight drop. Steps up in the pocket. Gonna keep it. Close to the first down. Did he get it? Looks like he did.
And that is what makes him such a dangerous weapon for USF. UAB did a good job of covering up those receivers in zone coverage. There was nowhere for Brown to go at the football. And you saw what he did. He saw an opening. He's able to beat the defender one-on-one in the open field, and he's able to convert that first down.
Off tackle, dragging defenders with him is Davenport. Tempo. USF, one of the fastest teams in the country, a little too fast there. Jeremiah Coger, the intended receiver, knocked around by the Blazers.
And one of the things for UAB is they'll have a coach watching to see when substitutions come in, because they know that's when they can get a substitution into the ball game. But that tempo, you have to be extremely careful trying to sneak players in, because they'll catch you with 12 players on the field.
21.2 seconds. That's all that separates the plays for USF. Second in the country. Last 3 games, they've gone even faster. 20 seconds between plays. Byron Brown stacked up close to the line of scrimmage. Nothing doing. Brings up fourth down.
And an excellent play by number 90, Zach Johnson, getting pressure up the field. You see, that pressure up the field did not give Brown the lane and the seam that he needed and that he thought he had. That's what you have to do as a defensive player. You have to be able to engage, and once you see the ball carrier, disengage and close off those lanes that those running backs think that they have.
The true freshman, Johnson. Defensive coordinator Steve Russ told us he has improved light years over the course of the season. Big stop there. Fourth down. Looks like USF will punt it away. Iverson hooks. Whack deep. Oh, and the punt caroms at the 10-yard line. Nice work by Luke Goder, the Australian punter.
Timeout on the field.
7-3. 5:30 left in the first quarter. USF holds the lead. There's a look at the standings for the American Conference. And this conference has been a heavyweight conference all season long. When you look at Group of 5 schools, the American has been head and shoulders, in my opinion, above the rest.
I would argue right now that they have 2 teams worthy of making the playoffs. I mean, with some of the wins that they've had in conference play. And it's a very tough conference to play in, very competitive. You see, excellent players all over the conference, not just 1 or 2 ball clubs.
No, and you saw Navy last week with a huge win against these USF Bulls, really putting a damper on the postseason hope for the Bulls. Ball is out, but quickly recovered. Ball got away from Jacobs, but he gets right back on it. 9-yard gain brings up 2nd and short. Jacobs, of course, the brother of Josh Jacobs, had an injury in 2024 early last season that really hampered his productivity, but one of the best guys on the squad.
And Jacobs does a good job of pressing the line of scrimmage. Once he gets the ball, he's getting up the field. He's an immediate impact runner.
Stays on the field. Bunch formation. Empty backfield. Jackson was in motion and took the handoff. Flags everywhere.
False start. 85. Offense. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
That's a killer right there.
And these are the things that you can't have happen. You get a great 1st down run. You get 8 yards on 1st down. You put yourself in 2nd and very manageable. You open up the playbook. Once again, you're not very predictable with what you're going to call. And then you get a penalty. So now you're back at 2nd and 7? So you put yourself right back behind the sticks.
Jacobs again. 1st down and more to the 35-yard line.
And once again, you see the way Jacobs presses the line of scrimmage. There's no dancing. There's no guessing. He knows where he wants to go. He presses the line of scrimmage. He makes the defender make a decision. And if you don't have square shoulders, he's going to run you over and continue to move forward.
Just one of the best guys around, according to his teammates and coaches. Constantly volunteers his time, is so into giving back to the community. Giving out blows on the football field today as he continues to punish the defense. Short gain there.
Well, one of the things that South Florida defenders want to do from the defensive line perspective is occupy offensive linemen. Don't allow tandem blocks to climb up to the 2nd level, meaning when they've got a double team, you want to make sure that double team has to stay on top of you, and you don't allow one of those players to climb up to block the 2nd level defender, those linebackers.
Kitna, quick fake. Hooks on the outside in space, across the 50, dodging tacklers inside of the 40, finally taken down.
And great blocking on the perimeter by Brandon Hawkins, number 6. That's what you ask for from your teammate. When Hawkins makes this block on the outside, all you can ask for at that point is for Hooks to make a play one-on-one, which he did, which allowed him to get those positive yards.
24-yard gain. You got to like that as an offensive lineman, right? You see your teammates blocking downfield, finishing the job?
Absolutely. Those are pretty guys. They always want to catch the ball and make the big plays with their shirts tied up, bellies hanging out. You got to make some blocks too, man.
So UAB on the move. Again, Alex Mortensen told us a fast start would be critical for them. And if they can get points on the board here, that would be huge. Kitna keeps it into some space, ducking down inside the 35. A shot to the head brings flags and obviously concern from the folks here at Protective Stadium. Fred Gaskin coming in, laying the wood.
And I don't know if he really got a clean shot on his head on that play. It didn't look malicious. They're taking Kitna out just to make sure he's okay, which I do like. I think the officials are discussing this right now.
Referee Edwin Lee talking it over.
personal foul, targeting, defense. After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct. Number 5, defense. His first in the game. The targeting is under further review.
So that's Fred Gaskin there, who had the interception early on.
Yes, you see he led with the crown of his helmet, and I think that's what they're going to get him on. Yes, he led with the crown of his helmet, and he hit him above the shoulder pads. So I think once they take a look at this, this will be a targeting penalty. And initially it did not look like a malicious play, and he did not launch, but he led with the crown of his helmet. By definition, that is targeting. And he hit him above the shoulders, so he's looked at as a defenseless player as well.
So we'll see. Ryder Burton was in for 2 snaps earlier, has 3 starts so far on the year. No stranger to big moments here for the Blazers this season, obviously engineering that win against Memphis in Alex Mortenson's first game. You've seen him play. What do you like about him?
Well, I think he brings a little bit more versatility with his ability to run the football, get outside the pocket, use his feet. He's a little bit more elusive than Kitna. And I think what it does, it makes the defense have to think about his running ability as well. You're not just looking at a quarterback that's going to pass the football. I hope Kitna's going to be okay as well, because he did take a clean shot on the back of the helmet. So that is the defenseless part that they're looking at as well. And like I said, I don't think it was anything malicious by Gaskin, but you have to keep your head up when you're making contact with an offensive player. And because he led with the crown of his helmet, I think that is what's going to be deemed and make that deemed.
So a targeting right now would get you 15 yards, probably to the 19-yard line.
But then you also got the unsportsmanlike conduct penalty as well.
Half the distance to the 9, quite possibly.
Absolutely. So this could be put them in great field position to score, but also we want to make sure that Kitna's going to be okay. We don't want to overlook the fact that he did take a shot to the head, so we hope that he's going to be okay and be able to return.
He is standing with his helmet on right now.
That's review. The ruling of targeting is upheld. It's also the unsportsmanlike conduct on the defense. Both by number 5. Number 5 is ejected.
So again, Forrest, you mentioned it. You know, the big concern is with Kitna, and we see him right now, still on the sidelines. Gaskin now ejected. He's the quarterback of that USF defense. Played quarterback in high school and really knows how to frame things as he approaches the ball and keeps his defense on the same page. And now here we are inside the 10, 1st and goal from the 9. What do you like here from the Blazers with Ryder into the game?
Well, I think if he's going to throw the ball, I like sprinting him outside the pocket to allow him to get more time to look down the field. But I lean on that running game. Jacobs has been able to make some big runs on this drive. I continue to lean on that running game, ask my offensive linemen to get pushed at the point of attack, fire out with flat backs, get movement, try and get up to those second-level defenders, and see if we can get that running game to push the ball into the end zone.
Jacobs, 3 carries on this drive for 26 yards. The long was 16. On 1st downs, UAB has gone with your advice. 7 runs, 1 pass. See what they do here. 1st and goal from the 9. Burton. Jackson. Down to the 6-yard line. Positive yards on 1st down.
And what I like, Pete, you've got you've got Jackson and Jacobs in the backfield at the same time. So as a defense, you've got to worry about 1 or 2, not just one player, but both of those players being able to possibly get the football. Also, because of Burton's ability to run the football. Those are 3 different ball carriers that those linebackers have to keep their eyes on.
Current drive, 6 plays spanning 80 yards in 3 minutes and 37 seconds, and the 2 big penalties have contributed. Burton, Jacobs powers his way into the end zone, and a huge jolt for UAB.
In this drive, you need to give it to the offensive line. Look at them firing off the football. You see number 70 getting up to the second-level defender, John Darius Morgan. That's what you ask for from your interior offensive linemen. Those guards in the center get movement at the point of attack. Get off of those blocks. Get up to those second-level defenders. Cover them up and allow your back to get to the end zone.
They're only going to field as a touchdown. That play is under further review.
If it stands, Isaiah Jacobs will have his 4th touchdown of the season, this one coming on senior day.
And it looked like he was able to reach the ball over the goal line. Watch when he gets close to the goal line. You see a reach right at the end. And I think that is where they called it a touchdown. But once again, a good job by those guards getting up and covering up those linebackers. Big number 70 getting his big body up there and covering up that linebacker, 6'4", 320 pounds. It's very difficult for a linebacker to get through that and try and get by that. But right here, you see him reach right there at the end. I think that is where, right there, you see the ball over the goal line. I think once they review that, they will confirm that this is a touchdown.
And Forrest, to your point, that front for the Bulls on roller skates right there.
Absolutely, they're getting pushed at the point of attack. You see white jerseys going backwards. You see Jacob Merrifield, the defensive tackle, 6'2", 290, number 40, moving backwards. And that's because those interior defenders are firing off with a flat back.
The field is uphill, touchdown.
When you're down in that short yardage, Pete, what you ask your offensive lineman to do is fire off with flat backs. Low man is going to win. You've got to keep your feet pushing. You've got to keep a wide base. And once again, when you're able to get off those blocks and get to those second-level defenders, you're a bigger guy. There's not a lot of space, so you can operate and be big. And you saw those guys be big and use their weight and get leverage.
And more props to them as we see the field goal or PAT go through the uprights. You know, we haven't talked about Jalen Schuler or Matt Karras today. Those guys are nightmares in the linebacking core for the Bulls, but so far they've been kept in check.
Well, the way that you keep those linebackers in check is you get on top of them. They are special when they're in space because they're better athletes than the offensive linemen. So as an offensive lineman, especially in the red zone, there's not a lot of room to operate. So you're in a better position to be able to get on top of those guys because their mindset is to get downhill, get on top of these backs, not allow them to get going. But when you can shed those interior defensive linemen and get on top of those guys, they don't have the space to operate.
85-yard drive for the Blazers, taking a 10-7 lead on a beautiful day here in Birmingham. A program that needs a break, creating one for themselves on that drive. Beautiful facility, by the way, here at Protective Stadium.
Absolutely beautiful.
5th year, and man, it smells brand new. It looks brand new as the fair catch is taken at the 15-yard line. And remember, the American on ESPN. Got to check it out. One of the best conferences in college football. Championship Friday, December 5th, 8 p.m. on ABC. And don't forget the college football bracket reveal. Exclusive coverage on Sunday, December 7th. That'll be 12 Eastern time on ESPN. Folks around the American look forward to one of their teams breaking through. Pre-snap motion. Brown keeps it and somehow skirts contact again for us as he gains positive yardage and dips out of bounds. He's a slippery dude.
But the one thing I like about what UAB did on that play is they stretched it out. They didn't allow him to get as north and south as quickly as he wanted to get up the field.
Quick snap, short gain, brings up 3rd down. Alvin Isaac stops short there.
But this is exactly what you wanted for UAB, forced them into 3rd down. One of the things that I looked at with this South Florida offense is they thrive on chunk plays, but you want to make them drive the ball systematically down the field.
Brown slings it. Attempted tackle is missed. A.J. Brown hit him first, but a posse of tacklers keeps him from getting that 1st down. And Brown was actually the one who came back to finish him off.
And how huge was that hit by A.J. Brown, knocking him backwards, making him run backwards and retreat to try to get up the field. That is a great play by the defense, first with the knockback, then second with everyone rallying to the football to get him down behind the sticks.
Keyshawn Singleton, first catch of the day, had 6 last week for 86 yards. First quarter coming to a close. Alex Golish on his heels. 10-7 Blazers in Birmingham. Some early body blows by UAB have them ahead now, 10-7, against a USF team that has been flirting inside the top 25 all season long. If they had won last week at Navy Forest, their probability to make the college football playoff was close to 50%. Obviously, it didn't go their way. They've had to recalibrate, but possibly we're seeing the effects of a little bit of a hangover.
Well, you know that has to weigh heavy on this ball club because they were right there teetering on being in the college football playoffs, chasing that elusive championship that everybody comes into the season trying to chase. So it does have an effect on the ball club, and you see possibly the effects of that right now. They look a little bit flat, but also I don't want to take anything away from this UAB ball club because offensive line-wise, they're firing off the football. You know, I want to give my offensive linemen some respect. We always overlook those guys unless they're jumping off sides, and these guys are doing a really good job. And this is an offensive line that has played mostly healthy throughout the season for UAB, and you see the reflection of the gelling that they've had.
Good news. Jalen Kitna back in the ball game after suffering a blow to the head at the hands of Fred Gaskins the last time UAB had the ball. Kitna 3 of 5 on the day for 38 yards. Hooks in motion. Quick handoff to Jackson, stuffed near the line of scrimmage.
And although you've got 2nd and 8, I think you continue to lean on that run game. continue to challenge this USF defensive line, continue to challenge your offensive line if you're UAB. Once you continue to challenge him, I think what you're going to do is you're going to get those linebackers, Mac Harris and Schuler, who are very aggressive up the field players, to get caught looking in the backfield. Then you can get that play action game going.
Pistol formation. Quick handoff. Skirting it outside is Jackson, threading the needle. Near a first down, will be just a yard shy before he's dragged down. Third and very short coming up.
And you see the quick jump cut by Jackson. A little bit different type of runner, but the jump cut right there, you saw penetration, good penetration up the field. Brandon Snee has to do a better job from the tackle position with that inside move by that defensive end. But because of Jackson's ability to get that quick jump cut, he's able to get to the outside. Empty backfield on 3rd and 1.
Big-bodied Kitna, with help from that offensive line you've been raving about, getting another first down.
When you've got a 6'5", 230-pound quarterback, you expect him to be able to fall forward for 1 yard. A good job by Kitna following his center and getting that first down.
Alex Mortensen has to be happy. 9th first down of the afternoon already for UAB. They've had the football for more than 11 minutes. Exactly the recipe he talked about. Jacobs stiff-arming defenders to a short gain before he is taken down. Nice play coming up by Jalen Schuler.
And that's the difficulty when you're running that trap or when you're running a counter play as an offensive guard. When you're the first one pulling, you've got to keep your eyes up the field to look for that linebacker. When the guard is pulling, he's thinking he's going to get in the alley and find that linebacker. But with a special player like Schuler, he's going to find the seam and get up the field underneath the play.
The shifty Solomon Beebe gets the carry and slips to a short gain. Last week, he fumbled the ball, trying to do just a little bit extra in that loss against North Texas in this stadium for UAB.
And kind of the same thing on that play. Mac Harris is able to get underneath the play because of his speed and agility. He's able to run that play down from behind as opposed to getting up in the alley where we would usually find that linebacker.
3rd and 8. Blazers today on 3rd down, 2 of 3. Jackson in the backfield. Straight drop. Kitna slings it for Beebe, leads him in the right direction, and Beebe into Bulls territory is knocked out of bounds at the 46-yard line. Another first down conversion, 3 of 4 on the day for UAB.
And what South Florida did, they showed 6 at the line of scrimmage. They dropped back into coverage, brought pressure from the outside, but Kitna does a good job of climbing the pocket. He knew where he wanted to go with the football, but he kept his eyes up the field to keep those safeties back and keep those linebackers inside. Once he climbed the pocket, he got the ball to his playmaker on the outside. He was able to skirt around the edge and get the first down.
4 of 6 on the day for Kitna, 50 yards, 1 big interception, but he has atoned for it. Jackson cuts back towards the middle of the field and is taken down by Mac Harris.
It's going to be very difficult to get to the edge against this up-the-field aggressive defense. You saw on that play, South Florida, they brought the house on that play. They got up the field. It's going to be very difficult. You've got to get north and south of this team. You've got to hit it. I don't think you have the speed to get around the edge because they are so fast and so aggressive.
And one of the keys to this team keeping it on the ground, if you remember, we're seeing some misdirection. Same thing that UNT did last week, or excuse me, Navy did against USF, as the pass was intended for Hawkins, knocked away. And a brilliant play by the defense. In on the coverage is Ben Knox.
Well, a couple of things on that play. The right tackle, Logan Moore, got beat off the edge. And you see Kitna right there. Sometimes you just need to take the sack. He's falling down. He can't put anything on the football. You've got 2 men out there. You've got safety help over the top. I think the defensive back got away with the tug at the back end of that play. The official didn't see it. But at the same time, that's just not a throw that you make. That was too dangerous.
3rd and 10. Pressure dialed up. Stepping up in the pocket is Kitna, and finding a way to thread the needle. First down for Iverson Hooks.
And an awesome play by Javon Jackson picking up the blitz. He's able to hunkered down right there, allowing Kittner the time that he needed to go down the field. He had man coverage underneath, and what he did, picking up that blitz, it allowed Kittner to look, survey the field, see where he had the favorable matchup, and throw a dime where only his receiver can make a play on it.
A heck of a throw by Kittner, feeling the pressure and finding his receiver. His receiver that time was Hooks. 3 catches for him today, give him 60 on the year, leading UAB. Jackson stacked up near the line of scrimmage and thrown down. Mac Harris in on it again. He's second in the American in tackles.
And there's that big fella, Josh Salazar, getting up the field, getting penetration. He didn't make the tackle, but his penetration made the back stop and redirect, which allowed Mac Harris to get downhill.
And his work off the field as a man earned him that number 63. Awarded to him by Alex Golish in memory of Leroy Selman, of course, Pro Football Hall of Famer with the Bucks, and actually served as athletic director for USF, brought this program to life. Kittner, straight drop, eludes the pressure, feeling it. Once again, it was Salazar.
Did a good job by Kittner getting outside of the tackle box and throwing the ball past the line of scrimmage to avoid the intentional grounding. There's nowhere to go with the football, and coaches always tell quarterbacks, if it's not there how it's drawn up, just throw it out of bounds, get rid of it. Don't try to force it. That's something that Coach Mortensen talked to us about, and he said he wanted to continue to work with Kittner to understand it's okay to throw the ball away. Don't throw it in harm's way.
Told us they drilled that this week in practice. Let's get it down. Blazers are hoping for their third down conversion of the drive.
85. Offense. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Tight end Antonio Ferguson into the game and whistled for that penalty. So it backs up the Blazers on what will be the 12th play of the drive. Hooks motions before snaps and another whistle. The Blazers had the advantage.
85. Offense. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
All right, Forrest, make sense of that for me.
Now, I'll tell you what, Antonio Ferguson would not want to play for Coach Bowden because every penalty you get is 5 stadiums. So he would be looking at 10 stadiums right now. But you've got to be more disciplined if you're Ferguson on the edge. You know the snap count. Wait until the ball is snapped. I know you want to make a play and you want to get a good, quick first step, but you've got to wait until the ball is snapped.
Oh, and this is another false start.
So these guys just want to run stadiums right now.
False start. 53. Offense. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Now, I'll tell you, Pete, I played for Coach Bowden and another guy, Brad Scott. I would not want to come to the sideline if I was on that offensive line right now. This is just a lack of discipline. You see Coach Mortensen right now. He's trying to figure out what's going on right now.
5 penalties, all false starts for UAB. We just saw 3 in a row. Somewhere Bobby Bowden is shaking his head.
3 in a row.
Kittner. Pass is deflected by a heat-seeking missile. A huge play there by Jalen Stokes.
Now, it's interesting. When the play first started, you said it was a 12-play drive. It turned into, what, a 15-play drive? Now, I will say this, though, from a positive standpoint. You allow your defense for UAB to get some rest because they're going against that tempo offense. You allow them to do something different with the game plan and continue to change up looks that South Florida is seeing. And then you also keep that powerful, explosive South Florida offense off the field with those long drives.
Punt comes down inside the 10. Dosey doing out of bounds by the 15. There's another penalty flag on the field. Joshua Porter on the return. Officials get set to sort it out. Our referee, Edwin Lee, has been busy today. The 10th penalty of the game just occurring.
Here's the kick, holding, number 23, receiving team. Half the distance to the goal line from the end of the kick. First down, timeout.
Cedric Hawkins gets hit with the whistle. Alex Mortensen goes to work with his quarterbacks. We'll be back with terrible field position for USF.
Correction, it was during the kick. The hold was during the kick.
This past weekend, the American Conference losing longtime Assistant Commissioner of Communications Chuck Sullivan. He worked for the conference since 2007, over a 25-year career spanning all 3 divisions of the NCAA. Chuck, just one of the most well-respected communication pros in college athletics. If you had a chance to interact with him, you were better off for it. A tireless ambassador for the American student athletes and teams, and just such a positive impact on everybody you work with. And look no further than his family, right? The folks around you, they're the ones that really can tell you how awesome of a person you are. And he was the consummate colleague, friend, supervisor, mentor, and most importantly, an even better husband, father, brother, and son. A tough loss for the conference. Back to action. Bulls with the football. A short game. That was the 15th play for USF today. And you have to keep in mind that Byron Brown has been the key component of 11 of them. But this time, it's Davenport shooting out across the 20-yard line.
And one of the things that UAB has to be careful of, when you're back playing against an offense that close to their own goal line, everybody is up close to the line of scrimmage. So there are not a lot of second and third level defenders if the back is able to get that.
14-yard gain, longest rushing gain of the day for Davenport and the Bulls. Davenport again running against that decimated defensive line, and coming up to make the stop is A.J. Brown. We've called his name a lot today.
A.J. Brown.
And you see right there, Amon Smalls had an opportunity to make a play, but Davenport is able to bounce off of that, and that contact balance that we talked about from some of these backs.
2nd and 3. Keep your eye on Koger. He can motor. And the freshman, another first down for USF.
And a good job by the offensive line selling run with their blocking scheme. When you sell run, a lot of times what the offensive linemen are taught to do is fire off. You take one quick step, but you've got to stop. You can't get too far past the line of scrimmage, but you want to sell that run.
So a 15-yard gain and a 14-yard gain on this drive already for USF. Brown has time. Sidearm throw. Threads the needle, and a nice catch and run. Wyatt Sullivan with the grab.
And a good job by Brown taking what the defense gave him. He wanted to get vertical with the pass game. He saw everything was covered up. He went with the safety valve underneath.
3rd first down of the drive. 10-yard gain to the 46. Play fake. Brown keeps it. Weaves his way through tacklers across the 40-yard line, where he plunges to about a 6-yard gain.
And Brown is such a smooth runner. It doesn't look like he's moving very fast. Very methodical with his running style. He follows his blocks very well. He doesn't take a lot of direct contact.
Oh, Davenport dishing out the contact there. Bullying his way to the 25-yard line. Another chunk play for the Bulls on this drive.
You've got Nakai Davenport at 6 foot 216 versus Jeremiah Vessel at 5'11", 190. Vessel, you've got to get down and you've got to get shoulder pads on shoulder pads or hit him low. You can't run up in there high. That will happen often. But we talked once again, Pete, about the contact balance of these running backs from USF.
Especially Davenport. For as fast as this offense goes, he can deliver a body blow. Slick pass there by Brown to the freshman Koger inside the 10-yard line. Hustling up to the line of scrimmage once again are the Bulls. They take their time now surveying the line of scrimmage.
And poor Jeremiah Vessel, he just got ran over by Davenport. Now they're going after him on the outside. Davenport's probably like, come on, man.
First and goal from the 9. Davenport again punishing the defense. Stopped at the 6-yard line by a posse of Blazers defenders.
You see, that's something psychological right there. You know, he didn't get many yards, but he didn't go down. And when you've got all those defenders hitting you and you're able to stay upright, that starts to mess with the psyche of a defense a little bit.
Quick tempo and a great catch by Wyatt Sullivan. The throw may be even better as Brown was under some heavy-duty duress. A hush over the crowd here at Protective Stadium.
Well, they did a good job of selling the run once again, and because they've been effective with that run game, you sneak the tight end out. We used to call that the gator play, where your tight end kind of sits and then he has a delayed release. And you saw Brown, if this any other quarterback, that may be a sack. But because of the athletic ability of Brown to be able to throw it off of his back foot and be upright with that strong lower half of his body, he was able to get that ball out with enough on it for Wyatt Sullivan to dive and make that catch.
Yeah, that's a great point. 6'3", 232. We've mentioned it.
The ruling on the field is a touchdown. That play is in the further review.
So you just heard it there from our referee, Edwin Lee. Roy Reynolds is our replay official. Time for him to go to work. Another look.
And that was a double catch, but I think he brought it to his body. I think that's going to be a touchdown. We'll see. Maybe we can see it better right here. Ball bounces up, and I don't think it ever hit the ground. I think he had his hands under the football.
Nothing there that could overturn it.
Absolutely. It has to be conclusive for them to overturn it. See right here.
It's Jermichael Rogers bearing down on Brown.
Yes, from what I see, his hands stayed under the football, between the ball and the turf. Great effort.
Field is a touchdown as of right now.
when your tight end can do something like that for you. I mean, we've talked about the weapons in the backfield on the outside. Now you got a tight end out here diving, making double catches. I mean, so many weapons on this offense.
Second touchdown of the season if it stands for Sullivan, the Atlanta, Georgia junior. And the drive, either way, if this is held up or not, has been impressive. 10 plays, 96 yards, over 4 minutes and 20 seconds, again, if it stands. But either way, they have moved the ball slowly, methodically down the field, but use some chunk plays too.
Absolutely. And once again, when you've got tight ends like Sullivan, Eccles, Wolf, I mean, they've just got playmakers all over the field.
After further review, the ruling on the field is upheld. Touchdown.
And like I said, Pete, when you've got a 6'4", 245-pound man that can make plays and dive like that, and he did a good job of selling it once again. And we talk about Byron Brown's athletic ability, his size. You know, he's a unique talent from the quarterback position, being able to hold that football until the last minute and then releasing it off his back foot and having just enough on it for his receiver to dive and make that play for him.
Yeah, Davenport with the punishing play, 5 rushes for 40 yards, and Brown with the sizzle, 4 of 4 passing for 32 yards, and had the 1 run for 7 yards. Most importantly, there is the touchdown to Wyatt Sullivan. The Bulls back in front, 4:32 left before the half. The American Conference has been lights out this season on the field, and you can catch all of it, all the sports on ESPN Plus, home to 40-plus college football games, over 1,000 exclusive live events, and every American Conference championship throughout the season. For more information, just sign up and visit it. Great stuff. Stream.espn.com. Pete Souza alongside the national champion, Forrest Connolly. He told me not to say Florida State national champ because they've been struggling. No,
Just
he did not say that. He's a proud Seminole alum, but he's disappointed.
Just rub some dirt on my wounds.
Don't let on the field.
All right, we'll step aside. One more break. When we come back, Blazers with the football. Back at Protective Stadium, 14-10, South Florida, UAB. The heartbeat still beating very strong, and thanks to that guy, Alex Mortensen. Had a great chat with him yesterday. We talked to him about Nick Saban. What has Coach Saban told you? And he said, he told me a lot of stuff. I worked for him for 9 years at Alabama, but most recently we've had a conversation. Time management as a head coach is a huge thing. Have an open door policy, but if it's not an emergency and you can save it for the staff meeting, let's visit it there. Jackson, right up the middle. Short gain, about 2 yards.
And an interesting stat we talked about off air, 12 of their 13 first down plays have been rush plays. And one play that they threw the football, it was an INT. So you don't want to throw the football on first down if you're UAB right now.
Ryder Burton into the game. Beebe is stacked up, and a shivering stop is made near the line of scrimmage. A big play by Smiley.
In hindsight, it's 20/20, but with their success running the football, maybe that was an opportunity right there to go with the play-action pass game because they've been successful running the football.
Levi Smiley bringing the juice there. 6'1", 240. North Texas transfer. Third and 8. Jacobs into the game. Kitna at the controls. Shaky throw. Almost reeled in by Brandon Hawkins, but disaster felt like it was averted there.
And what Hawkins has to do on that play is see where the defender is coming from and get his body in between the ball and the defender. See right there, he's reaching out for it. I think if he runs through that and catches that football, he's maybe able to fall forward. But you can't reach out towards where the defender's coming from trying to reach for the football.
Ben Knox knocks it away. So punt formation. Porter drifts to the 30, shakes and bakes, ducks out of trouble, but is thrown to the turf at the 37-yard line. Pitcher with the big stop, 43-yard punt, 7-yard return. Felt like Porter had something going there for a moment. And Byron Brown back onto the field. Quietly efficient once again. He's got 7 of 9 passing, 92 yards, 1 touchdown. And on the ground, he's been chipping away. 7 carries for 30 yards, 1 touchdown there. Shotgun formation. Motion from Singleton. Brown so poised in the pocket. Laser beam. The catch is made by Rubin. Stopped just short of a first down.
And a good job on the outside by Donald Lee, getting him down immediately, not allowing him to get possession and try to make yards after the catch.
Here comes the tempo. Davenport bringing the wood. First down for USF. He continues to wear down that defense now, over 50 yards on 8 carries. Brown slings it to the right side. Singleton grabs it. Another first down for the Bulls. Is now you feel the momentum building for this offense.
And with the usual offense, you say, okay, these guys have got to speed it up because of the time left on the clock before the end of the half. But their tempo allows them to just flow freely. It's nothing new for them.
Brown fakes to the right, up in the pocket. Drifting down the right sideline was Rubin, and he's just overthrown.
2-minute timeout.
Takes us to the 2-minute timeout. Little miscommunication there. Brown says, hey, my bad. That's okay, man. You've been so good this season. We'll be right back. There's the American Conference Football Saturday scoreboard. Early advantage for Tulane, up 10-0. See Georgia 35-3 over Charlotte. Tulsa with a victory over Army. UConn leading FAU. East Carolina ahead. North Texas and Rice tonight. North Texas surging, trying to make their push for the college football playoff. American Conference has been dynamite this season. Byron Brown changing the play on second down. He's been a lit stick at dynamite this season. Right back up the middle. Escapes. Hurdles a defender and is knocked to the turf at the 24-yard line, but not before he hits the highlight reel.
And you almost see UAB shift into a cover 3, which took them out of position to make the tackle. A good read by Byron Brown, seeing that the defense had shifted out of that initial defense shown to him pre-snap, and he's able to get up the field.
15-yard gain. Lost his footing as Hightower was bearing down, looking for Iverson hooks. Really the only thing that can stop him is himself right now.
And I was going to say, he didn't get the ball past the line of scrimmage, and he was not outside the tackle box.
Flag is down.
Intentional grounding. Number 17, offense. Lost it down. The spot of the foul. Second down.
And a huge penalty.
Well, he actually was outside the tackle box, but he didn't get the ball past the line of scrimmage, and there was no one over there where he threw the football.
This foul qualifies for a 10-second runoff.
He was trying to avoid the sack on that play, but he was outside the tackle box.
And you heard it, 10 seconds will come off the clock now.
UAB has declined a 10-second runoff. The clock is running the snap.
Or it won't, because UAB declines that option. 2nd and 23. Seventh play of the drive. Davenport, the physical runner, showing off some fleet feet. Upended close to the 30-yard line. Third down coming up.
Timeout, UAB. Their first of the half, 30 seconds.
Alex Mortensen and the Blazers will take a timeout.
And this is a huge third down play. They can stop them here, force a field goal attempt. Even if USF is able to get a field goal on this play, UAB is looking at only being down by 7 going into the half, something that I think if you told their coaching staff that at the beginning of this game, they would be very okay with.
Especially when you consider USF has scored 30-plus points in 7 straight games. This is an explosive offense, and they really have kept under wraps, I guess you could say, Byron Brown, simply by keeping the ball out of his hands.
Exactly, keeping him off the field. The best defense is, is keeping their offense off the field.
Time of possession, 17 minutes and 20 seconds for UAB, 11-16 for USF. But here comes the third down. USF 1 of 3 on third downs today. Here comes the pressure. Pocket collapsing, but wide open is Singleton. Had it and lost it.
And that's a catch that Singleton usually makes. You see the vertical speed, he's a long strider, wide catch radius, and Brown puts just enough on the football. He's got to be able to squeeze it. You see him trying to get possession of the football. You have to wonder if he lost the ball in the sun, because it looked like he had possession of that football. He just didn't know when to squeeze it.
49-yard field goal attempt coming up for Nico Gramatica. Kick is up. Splits the uprights. So 17-10 is the score after a bullet is dodged by UAB. And back to that Singleton situation, the missed catch. He's a guy that he's been so acrobatic this season. Just watching them play last week against Navy, he had some beautiful catches. Remember, this dude is 6'3", 215. Just couldn't reel it in there. That's uncharacteristic.
He's their leading receiver, and I have to say, I wonder if he lost the ball in the sun, maybe, or he mistimed his jump on that play.
Number 3,
because
98 for UAB on the kickoff.
The ball was in his hands, you know, and usually he's able to squeeze that football. He has such a big catch radius. He's just one of those guys that you expect to catch everything that comes his way.
Yeah, that is a great point. As you see him right there standing in the sun. If you're just joining us or watching at home, take a look at your screen. That's what he was probably battling down there in that south end zone. Coming up on 3:30 p.m. here, local time. And the sun is starting to set behind the stadium. Kickoff out of bounds. College football on ESPN. Tonight, 20th ranked Tennessee goes into the Swamp. 7:30 on ABC. A huge matchup in the SEC. Saturday night football.
And I tell you what, Pete, that is one of the most difficult places to play and win a college football game. One of the loudest, I would say the loudest stadium in college football.
Dude, when your Seminoles teams came into town, they were bloodthirsty. Kitna throwing out of the sun, and a great grab is made. Close to the 45-yard line. The chains will move. Positive yardage as Hawkins has another grab. Doesn't have his helmet, but he's got the football, 19 yards.
You see, that's what is so dangerous about Kitna. He'll make some throws where you're like, okay, what are you seeing? Why did you throw it there? But then he'll make a special throw like that and fit it into a small window. And you see the talent, the arm talent, and the ability.
Second catch for Hawkins. Inside of a minute. Kitna throwing outside deep. Almost brought down by Hooks. He's looking for a flag. He won't get it. Use that speed to get behind the coverage.
And Hooks has got to make that catch. That's usually a catch that Hooks makes. He always adjusts well to the football. You see him right there. It's right in the breadbasket. He's got to be able to squeeze that football to his chest. I mean, it couldn't have been, the throw couldn't have been better. The defensive back was on him a little bit, but that's still a catch that he should make.
Jarvis Lee in coverage, sticking to him. 51 seconds left. 2nd and 10. Jacobs in the backfield. Kitna, deep drop. Zips it out to the right side. The freshman Elder brings it in, but a flag is down.
Ineligible receiver downfield. Number 17 offense. 5-yard penalty. Repeat, 2nd down.
Tight end Elijah Lag. Tight end room is not a place I would look forward to being in when they watch this tape, man. That's about the 4th penalty on a tight end today. Second and long. Ball's at the 39-yard line. 46 seconds left before halftime. Jalen Kitna has a cannon for an arm as he directs traffic, floats it in the area intended for Jacobs. His outstretched arm couldn't bring it in.
That was real close to a personal foul right there. I'm surprised the officials didn't throw the flag on that play. Jalen Stokes, I thought, took a little bit of an extra push on the offensive player, knowing he did not have possession of the football when he was out of bounds, clearly.
And Kitna was limping back from the sideline, was on the opposite bench. Maybe
That's a little extra touch up, yeah.
So here it is, 3rd down. Pressure comes. Singleton bearing down again. Kitna Is it intercepted? No, knocked away right there, and almost a great pick by Jarvis Lee, but a flag is down right behind the 40-yard line in UAB territory.
After one, is this roughing the passer?
DJ Harris was in the backfield harassing the quarterback. Early indication is, let's check it out.
Personal foul. Against the face. Number 4, defense. 15-yard penalty. Automatic. First down.
Man, that's the second personal foul of the game on Michael Williams, if we can believe what we just heard out of the mouth of our official, Edwin Lee. Sometimes they get it wrong, but if it's right, Williams could be in hot water.
You see down here at the bottom of the screen, you've got to keep your hands inside, and he just throws a punch. I mean, clearly, you've got to be more disciplined than that. They were going to have to punt the football, but now you've given them a new set of downs.
8 penalties for almost 70 yards this half for South Florida. Can UAB take advantage? Kittner looking nimble in the backfield. Safety valve Jackson takes it out of bounds with 21 seconds left.
USF is doing a good job of covering on the back end, not giving Kittner anywhere to go at the football. You know he wants to get vertical with that pass game, try and get them into field goal range at least to get an attempt.
If you're Alex Mortensen, how do you do it?
I think you try and get a back leaking out, look for a wheel route, see if you can get, you know, one of the linebackers caught up in the mesh and get your back out freely and try and get it to him on the sideline where he can get positive yards and get out of bounds so you can preserve your timeouts.
2 timeouts left for UAB. A wonderful pass, and it's brought down by Evan McCray, his first catch of the day. Pronounced.
Timeout, UAB. First second and a half. 30 seconds.
Okay, now the Blazers in business.
And a good job on the end route right there. Squeeze the football. That's what you have to do. And once again, we talk about these throws by Kittner. He'll have some throws where you question why did he throw it, but then he'll have some throws like that throw right there where he fits it in where only his receiver can make a play on it.
14-yard gain. And let's talk about the fact, too, that these guys have trailed a lot this season. And there has been an urgency by everybody to press and do a little bit more. Have you seen Kittner maybe playing within himself after that first pick?
Well, I think he's being careful. He's had some throws that could have been picked.
So that's a no.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah, so that's a no.
I just think he's been lucky to
You're a
have
sweet
picked
guy
it.
for us. You're like, Pete? No, disagree.
Now, this drive, I think he's done a better job.
Okay.
But the drive before this, he threw a couple out there that could have been picked.
All right, well, let's see what life on the edge brings us here. 1st and 10, 16 seconds left. 1 timeout for UAB. Kittner at the controls, his team down 7. Halftime awaits, but can the Blazers make some noise before and put a dent in this lead? Maybe tie it. Pressure from Todd Orlando's D. A flag is down, and so is the quarterback.
And both tackles open their outside shoulders too quickly and got beat around the edge. You've got to get square shoulders and get back.
Would be the first sack of the season for Ira Singleton, who came screaming in off the edge.
It all starts with technique.
Personal foul, hands to the face, number 72. Offense, 15-yard penalty. Repeat, first down. Timeout, UAB. Their third, 30 seconds.
To left tackle Brandon Snee out of Philadelphia.
And he got hands to the face because he got beat around the edge. So you're trying to reach out and stop that defensive player any way possible at that point. It starts with getting back And you also have to play with violent hands. When you think about a boxer doesn't just put his hands up when he's boxing. He's always moving those hands. Boom, 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 boom. Well, as an offensive tackle, that's what you have to do on the edge. You've got to be a dancing bear. You've got to kick back. You've got to keep those shoulders square, but you've got to fight those defenders and keep them off of you. You can't just reach your hands out there because you're going to get caught up every time. And Snee should know better. This guy was a standout offensive tackle at Wagner. No sacks allowed as a sophomore when he was at Wagner prior to transferring here. So he knows better.
And right there, the junior from South Philadelphia, Newman Goretti High School, more Rocky Balboa than Dancing Bear.
Absolutely.
And a huge penalty backs him up to the 49-yard line. Are you just heaving it now? You got no timeouts.
Yeah, absolutely. It's got to be into the end zone, you know, because if they catch the ball not in the end zone and it's not a first down, the time's going to run out.
Maybe time for a quick out. We'll see how they draw it up. Kitna, straight drop. Little bit of time. Drifts to the right. A laser beam intended for Hooks. Just out of his reach, maybe making a business decision there.
Absolutely, alligator arms. I was going to say that. Hooks decided, hey, you know, if I catch this, we're not going to get another play, you know, so why put myself in harm's way? And, you know, Iverson Hooks, I understand. You know, usually as an offensive lineman, I'm like, come on, be a tough guy. But no, I understand on that play.
He's got 60 catches on the year.
He wants to get to 61.
Yeah, he sure does. He wants to see 61. 4 seconds left. Kitna ready to uncork it. Steps up. Stops short of the line of scrimmage. It looked like down into the end zone, and it's picked off by Mac Harris. Tack on another big play to his season total. 2 interceptions now for him. But the Blazers head into halftime, Forrest, within arm's reach of USF, heavily favored coming into this game.
And they've got to feel good about what they were able to do defensively, slowing down this powerful offense. They've just got to get more from their offense in the second half.
Second half awaits. More action from the American Conference from Birmingham.
Welcome into Studio A. I'm Maria Tribal Peace. Championship season is still upon us, so we have some football in addition to a lot of soccer on this week's top plays. We'll begin with the football though, East Carolina and Memphis. Time is running out, but no problem for Caton Hauser because he has Peyton Mangrum in the end zone coming up with the catch. He's covered, doesn't care. Pirates win this one. Our next play comes from Charlotte. The 49ers have a man who is about to catch the ball right here by the name of Derek Ely, and he's very good at what he does. He dodges multiple defenders, then turns on the Jets. He runs this ball all the way to the end zone. More football for you, Navy and South Florida. Midshipman quarterback Blake Horvath looking for his favorite target in Eli Heidenreich. Can he find him? Yes, he can. Heidenreich with the one-handed grab. Nigel Van Haveren is the goalkeeper for FIU. Bops that ball away. We're going to see it again in just a moment. This is a game saver for the Panthers. They'd eventually go on to win this game in PKs. Jasmine Kessler is our #1 play, and you'll see why. Yes, that ball goes into the back of the net. Kessler can't believe it. She is the goalkeeper who made the kick, who made the shot. You'll see it again right here. Kessler scoring a goal for UTSA. If you see a top play this week, make sure you use the hashtag American Top Plays on social. Keep it right here. We have more coming up for you on ESPN+. Basketball Player of the Week is UAB's Callie Smallwood. Smallwood led the Blazers to a pair of wins over Alabama A&M and Chattanooga. She averaged 20 points per game on 63% from the field and an impressive 75% from behind the arc on 9 of 12 shooting. The Men's Basketball Player of the Week is South Florida's Joseph Pinion. Pinion helped lead South Florida to a pair of victories last week by averaging 24 points and 3 rebounds. Against Coppin State on November 12th, the senior posted 24 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, and 2 steals, while at Kennesaw State on November 16th, Pinion added 24 more points, including 3 of 3 from three-point range. The Offensive Player of the Week in football is North Texas's Caleb Hawkins. Hawkins tallied 5 rushing touchdowns in the 53-24 win over UAB, breaking the North Texas program record. His 16 rushing touchdowns is tied for the nation's lead. He carried the ball 27 times for 189 yards while adding 1 catch for 21 yards. For more on the weekly awards, you can visit our website at theamerican.org. Keep it right here. We have more coming up for you on ESPN+.
Back in beautiful Birmingham on a sun-drenched Saturday, 17-10 at the break. USF with the lead. We welcome you back inside. He's the national champion, Forrest Conley. I'm Pete Souza. Forrest, we met with Alex Mortensen yesterday. If we told him we can look in a crystal ball and say it'll only be 17-10, your team will be within a touchdown at half, he probably would have taken it.
He'd be smiling ear to ear, feeling really good about his ball club right now. They've done enough to be in this ball game and be competitive. They've had some opportunities they've missed, but they've also had some opportunities that they've capitalized on.
So for USF, they've been kept off the field. A nice job by Mortensen and his crew. They've had the ball, the Blazers have, for 18.5 minutes, but when USF has had the ball, Byron Brown has taken advantage of the opportunities.
Well, he is as advertised. And when you talk about a guy that is a dual threat, he's been dual with his ability to power the ball over the goal line, then fit the ball into some tight pockets, finding his receivers down the field, doing a good job, and then running the football, shaking off of defenders, getting up the field, falling forward. He does a good job of fitting the ball in once again in a tight pocket to his receiver, and he does a good job with the play action pass as well, getting it to his tight end.
Really showing us something today. He's been beating people loudly all season long, and today, quietly, has kept USF afloat. There are the stats right there. 204 total yards for USF, 150 for UAB. But Forrest, what jumps out with you, for you numbers-wise?
Well, I think turnovers, that's the big key right now. UAB has to protect the football. That last turnover, I'll give that up for just a Hail Mary. But the early turnover, Kitna has to protect the football. He's had some other throws that could have been turnovers. I think if he does a better job in the second half protecting the football and they continue that run game, they can stay in this and be competitive all the way through to the end.
American Conference football comes back in the second half after this. You are watching the American Conference on ESPN. UAB on a beautiful day here in Birmingham, senior day, clinging to life, down 17-10. USF will start the second half with the football, so we'll see Byron Brown right away.
And if there's one thing that UAB can hang their hat on, Byron Brown only averaged 3.4 yards per carry in the first half, and I think a lot of that has, of course, a lot of it has to do with the sack that they got. He lost a lot of yards on that play, but 9 carries, 45 yards prior to the sack, so net of 31 yards. You got to say, okay, we've held the big guy in check.
Big time. Oh, look at this, Iverson. Knocked out of bounds at the 44-yard line, and the kicker coming over to make the play. Nice job by Owen Simpson. 40-yard return. And there's Byron Brown, 9 of 13 in the first half, 114 yards and 1 touchdown.
And interesting about Brown, when we were talking to the coaching staff, remember I asked him, I said, hey, is he eligible to return? they kind of downplayed that.
Don't tell anybody, yes. But yeah. As I would do. Brown moves left, throws with his right hand, uncorks it. Rubin down the sideline, breaks free, missed tackles. Blazers had 18 last week and some more right there in front of our eyes to start the second half. 60-yard touchdown, the explosive play we've been waiting on.
And Jeremiah Vessel and Delvin Gully, friendly fire. It's one of those plays you don't want to go back and look at, in film on Monday. The coach is probably going to get on him about that, but at the end of the day, you're trying to make the tackle right here. You've got Gully coming in, friendly fire, just kind of knocks him off. With Vessel coming up, it's just one of those oops plays.
A 60-yard oops, as it's now 24-10. And a haymaker thrown to start the third quarter.
And you see the throw over the linebacker's head, right where it needs to be, putting the ball on Rubin. And you see the defenders once again right here. Gully and Vessel bounce off of each other. You hate to see that because both of those guys are just trying to make a play. It just was a perfect oops.
It was a perfect storm, right, for Steve Russ's defense.
Yeah,
and look, the throw and the run after the catch were there too. USF, we see the celebration there for good reason. And their last 3 drives for us, they've been on a heater. 20 plays, 188 yards, 2 touchdowns and 1 field goal. They were held in check early on, but boy, this offense has really come to life.
Yes. And that's the thing about this offense. You can think you're in it. You can be right there with them, and then they'll explode on you with these huge chunk plays, something that they've been able to do all throughout this season. You want to put this offense in a position where they have to drive the ball down the field methodically. The chunk plays is what they thrive on. You see the chunk play in the first half, and you see it come out in the second half. A chunk play once again.
So Byron Brown, 175 yards on the day, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. On the ground, 9 carries and 31 yards, 1 touchdown. Again, he's accounted for 3 touchdowns today, accounted for 4 last week. Individually, the most explosive offensive player in the country. Let's see if Jalen Kitna can answer. Jackson dives over the right side. Jalen Kitna's first half. Remember, last time he played this team last year, threw for almost 400 yards. As he'll actually head off the field right now in favor of Ryder Burton. Burton has not attempted a pass in this game. Last game attempted one and was intercepted. Here's his first pass, gets his confidence up. Antonio Ferguson, first down, twists near USF territory. The chains move, offense rolling.
And you see the odd lineup. What they did is they lined up all of the three of the offensive linemen down on the bottom of the screen, and then you line up a receiver out there. So the defense has to pay attention to that receiver dropping back behind those linemen. What they'll usually do is get a pass to him, and he'll have blocking out in front of him. Now on that play, they caught a defender jogging off the field, so they're going to have 1st and 5 right there. USF has to do a better job of getting on and off the field.
Trayvon Mitchell, the 6 foot, 282-pound senior.
Offside. Defense. Also illegal substitution. Illegal substitutions decline. 5-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
And he's got to have a sense of urgency getting off the field. But once again, what they're doing is you've got a receiver lined up out there with those linemen. So if the defense doesn't pay attention, what that receiver will do is drop back behind those linemen. He'll get the pass, and he'll have a convoy in front of him. So let's see if they go back to that later on in the ball game.
BB in the backfield, Kitna back in the game. The penalty takes him into USF territory. Forrest, when you were on the offensive line at some of those amazing Florida State teams, I know you never had this, or maybe you did, a quarterback kind of going in and out of the game, right? Like back and forth, 2 quarterbacks. What's that like in the huddle?
Well, you know, I had Charlie Moore, so I didn't have to worry about that. And then when he graduated, I had Danny Canal. But I think it messes with the chemistry at times because there's a different snap count, different cadence. And then, to me, what it does is it allows the defense to kind of get a key as to what plays you're potentially going to run.
Kitna runs to the right side and finds Hooks. Another first down for UAB. 2nd of the drive.
And we're seeing a little bit of tempo right now from UAB as well. They're not going as fast, but they're staying at the line of scrimmage. And what USF has to be careful of is them getting a quick snap count and catching those guys on the field in between substitutions, because once again, they're not showing a sense of urgency on defense getting on and off the field.
Yeah, Coach Mortensen told us about that tempo. He said they used it to score 56 against this Bulls team 2 years ago. Can they get 7 here? Incomplete, throwing down the middle of the field for Elder. Triple covered.
That was not a good decision on that play. You've got 1 receiver back there, 3 defensive backs. You want to get the big play. You want to see if you can catch him. But as I said earlier, if it's not there like it's drawn up, get rid of the football in a safe manner.
2nd and long for Kitna, who's been living on the edge all year long. Steps up, out of trouble. Evades tacklers and dives towards the first down marker. They'll have his knee down at the 30, so not nearly as close as I initially thought. Mac Harris on the stop.
But I like the decision-making by Kitna on that play. You put them in 3rd and manageable as opposed to 3rd and long. And now you can either run the football or throw the football. I'm surprised they got away from Isaiah Jacobs, who was running the ball very effectively in the 2nd quarter.
Averaging 6.5 yards a carry is Jacobs, but there's Iverson. Hooks slips behind the coverage and spins his way to the 7-yard line. Tackled by Ben Knox, but not before a big gain of 23 yards.
And you see he froze the linebackers with the ball fake. Right there, you see the linebackers freeze. And they come up, and that allows for space for Hooks to get across with that short crossing route.
Substitutions for both teams will slow it down temporarily for the Blazers. BB in motion. Kitna surveys, darts it to the back of the end zone. Intercepted. Came up just a little short, and Deshaun Rucker was there.
It was an interception for a touchback.
And back to the poor decision-making. And I kind of throw this one on the coaches. You've just converted a first down. You've got the ball inside the 10-yard line. You've been running the ball effectively in the 2nd quarter. Get the ball back to your ball carriers. Take the pressure off your quarterback.
3rd turnover of the game. The pressure mounting on the Blazers. We come back to Birmingham and we revisit the 23rd takeaway of the year for the Bulls defense. This time it was Deshaun Rucker with the pick. The Tennessee transfer. Coach Todd Orlando told us when we talked to him this past week that, hey, my corners have great reel-in speed. They can accelerate to make up for missteps, and we saw Rucker do it there. He may have even baited Kitten into the pick. Either way, 70 turnovers since 2023. And that is really significant because it's when Alex Golesh and his staff really flipped this program and brought them to life and maybe even prominence here in college football. Brown looking to deliver a kill shot down the field. Singleton lays out and reels it in.
And you see Brown saw he had man coverage on the outside. You've got the speedy Singleton one-on-one with Tamarion Crumpley, and he lays it out where, excuse me, not Crumpley, but Donald Lee. He lays it out where nobody can make the play on that football but Singleton, and he stretches out. Now, they're going to take another look at this, see if he maintains control.
It's a catch. That play is in the further review.
Well, if it's upheld for us, that's 2 plays, 104 yards this half after that 44-yard game.
And we talk about chunk plays, and that's what this offense has thrived on throughout this season, the huge play. Now, the question is, was he able to maintain control of the football and squeeze it, or did the ground help him? It looks like his arm is under the football. The ball did move, but his arm seemed to be under, his forearm seemed to be under the football from what we saw from that angle right there.
Another look. Either way, what an effort by Singleton.
And what a throw. And I mean, what else can you ask for from Donald Lee? You see him right there chasing Singleton. And Donald Lee is one of the bigger corners at 6'3", 185. So you got a 6'3" defensive back going against a 6'3" wide receiver. This is the question here. Was his forearm under the football? Because the ball clearly moves. You see the ball move.
Yeah, I would not want to trade places with Roy Reynolds. He is our replay official today. Taking a close look at this one.
And I think when you've got a speedy receiver like Singleton, you've got to get a bump off the line of scrimmage. You can't give a guy with that type of top-end speed a free release.
Well, one of the issues with him this year, for the competition at least, is the dude's put on 30 pounds since he got to USF. So there is a little bit more of that strength for him at 6'3", right?
Now, they're both 6'3", but he's 30 pounds heavier than Donald Lee. Lee is 185. But that's why. But then if you try to get a bump off the line of scrimmage, he might overpower you at the same time. So, like you said, Pete, that's what makes him difficult. He's almost like a tight end out there.
And the one pass in the end zone slipped through his hands, and you made a great point. May have been battling with the sun there.
At the further review, the ruling on the field is upheld. First down.
And we hear from Edwin Lee there, and I have to agree with that, right? I mean, there was just nothing there that was conclusive.
And like I said, the ball moved, but his arm was under the football. And so that means it did not touch the turf.
So it'll be 1st and 10 from the 36-yard line. Byron Brown, electric so far this half. 2 plays, 104 yards, escapes trouble. Throwing on the run, looking for the freshman Koger. Flag is down. Did he draw PI from Tyreek Watson? Quite possible he did.
And that's the difficulty in playing against a Byron Brown.
Holding, number 24, defense, 10-yard penalty, first down.
That play was defensed perfectly. You had immediate pressure on Brown, but because of his escapability, he extended the play, which preceded Tyreek Watson having to hold because you've got the receivers now in scramble mode, and he got behind Watson, so Watson did what he had to do to prevent the receiver from breaking wide open. But it all starts with the escapability of the quarterback, extending that play.
Motion from Sullivan, who has a touchdown catch today. Sam Franklin on the carry. Jump cuts to a very short gain. The Oklahoma transfer just into the game, his first touch of the day. You know, prior to that touch, only 7 guys from USF had touched the football, and it's starting to, as you alluded to earlier in the day, they've opened up the playbook a little bit here in the second half. Whistle and a flag down. So Rod Bryant from UAB says it's on the Bulls.
For 51, offense. 5-yard penalty, second down.
Zane Herring jumped. Ten penalties for 79 yards so far for USF today. Alex Golish with his team up 2 touchdowns. Would love to make it 3 here. 2nd and 13. Brown sidearms it to the right side. Singleton again breaks free inside the red zone, shy of the first down. Brings up 3rd and more than manageable.
When you've got a guy that big able to avoid the linebacker Eddie Tosin coming downhill, 6'5", 240. A good read by Tosin, but a better juke move by Singleton to get by him. You know, you talk about a guy overpowering you on the outside, outrunning you on the outside. Now he can fake you out in the open field. He's such a weapon, a dynamic weapon for the South Florida offense.
Bulls 1 of 4 on 3rd down today. Pressure coming, and even Smalls was there first. Ducking out of his grasp was Brown, but coming over to finish the job is the guy you just brought up, Eddie Tosin.
But you got to call him Biggie.
Biggie Smalls is the illest, baby. Biggie Smalls is the illest.
The fact that the coaching staff nicknamed him Biggie Smalls and he didn't know who Biggie Smalls was.
There is even Smalls, and he gets just enough of Brown to slow him down, and Tosin finishes him off. Here comes a 43-yard field goal attempt from Nico Grammatica. Was true from 49 earlier. Puts his leg into it. True again. So a 17-point advantage for USF. All Bulls so far in the second half. There's the American Conference scoreboard today. I've been playing some of the best football in the country. And you see it illustrated on your screen right there. Tulane up 20-7.5 against Temple. Big one for North Texas tonight against Rice. And a surprise early on, UTSA all over East Carolina, 34-3 at the half in San Antonio. And they have done their best to kick the ball away from Beebe here in the second half after his electric return in the first. Jalen Kitna back onto the field after a red zone interception. Third pick of the game. Give him a break on the second one. It was a heave towards the end zone, a Hail Mary at the end of the first half. But either way, can't afford to give the ball up.
And that's something Coach Mortensen talked to us about. He said there's some picks where, you know, things just happen. Then there's some times where he looks at Kitna and says, you know, where were you thinking? Where were you going with the football?
Getting a hands off to Jacobs on the carry. And that's what you were looking for at the end of the first half, wondering, hey, where did they go? They got away from Jacobs, and some pop there early on for him in this third quarter.
And when you watch him, he runs just like Josh Jacobs. He's such a powerful behind-the-pads runner. He's very difficult to bring down. He has contact balance, and he presses the line of scrimmage. He doesn't wait.
Here's Solomon Beebe. Had it in space for a moment before he was drilled down. Hightower in on it. Check that. Jarvis Lee. Brings up 3rd and 1.
Do you play it safe here and go with the quarterback sneak?
You're the expert, but I think so. He's 6'3". I mean, they need to kind of get a first down here. Doesn't look like that's what they're doing, though.
But you see what they shifted to defensively? They got down in both of those A-gaps.
Here's Beebe trying to do it on the edge, and does. Got a great block from Jackson on the edge.
And you have to think that that was a choice call right there, where either if they don't shift down into those A-gaps, he goes with the quarterback sneak. But as soon as they shifted down and condensed their defense, you knew you had an opportunity to get to the edge with your speedy back coming around.
12-yard gain. Hats off to Kitten and the staff there. The drive continues. 6 of 9 on 3rd down today are the Blazers. Fake. Kitna slings it. Diving to positive yardage is Hooks.
It looks like, is that Jarvis Lee?
Officials timeout for an injury to a defensive player.
Indeed it is. Jarvis Lee, of course, as tough as he is, quick to get back on his feet.
He said he doesn't want to come out of the ball game.
Todd Orlando told us he was a role guy that straight up came out of nowhere, full-fledged out of nowhere, and is a main contributor on this defensive effort now.
You see right there, he got dinged by his own teammate.
Second and 5 for UAB.
Brings up 2nd and 5. .550 left here in the 3rd quarter. Time of the essence for UAB. Kitna unloads. Hooks was turned around, looking for a flag. Rucker in coverage. He had the pick just a few minutes ago, it feels like, and did a good job there bottling up Iverson Hooks.
And also, that was an uncatchable football, so they weren't going to throw the penalty on that play. Unless he had 15-inch arms, he was not going to be able to stretch out and catch that football.
Bring it up again. UAB 6 of 9 on 3rd down today. 3rd and 5. Right into the teeth of the defense goes Jacobs. Nothing doing. Probably thinking about, hey, we got 2 plays to carve this up. Maybe get the first down, but after no gain, 4th and 6.
And I look for USF to bring pressure on this play. We're going with 1 deep safety. It's like they're playing man.
First 4th down of the game. Kidna and bearing down on him, delivering the pressure. Nowhere for him to go. Singleton was there.
Timeout on the field.
2nd USF sack on the season. Singleton has 2.5, and Alex Golish, words of confirmation and affirmation for his defense and Deshaun Rucker as we get another look. Drive over, Bulls ball.
The College Football Playoff begins December 19th and concludes with the National Championship January 19th on ESPN.
College football, man. I mean, Forrest, this was, at least, your Knowles would have been a 1 seed back in the day, right? But this is so exciting. As we look at the college football playoff bracket, this is based on the current rankings right now. Gets you excited, gets the juices flowing, also maybe gets you a little nervous, right?
Absolutely, but the team I think to watch right now is Indiana. To me, they've been the most dominant team, and they had that real close win a couple of weeks ago, and I think that shows their merit to be able to win a close, tough-fought football game, the one against Penn State. But Indiana, to me, is head and shoulders. They look on paper, and what I've seen so far, is the best team in college football.
It's going to be so much fun when we get started. Davenport starting to chip away at this UAB defense.
And I say that, and then they'll go play against Ohio State. And you never can count out the SEC, you know, because when you think about the SEC, the gauntlet that you have to go through.
Does it wear you down, though?
I think it prepares you for anything. And, you know, when you look at some SEC teams that may have to travel, I mean, you think about Ole Miss, Georgia, Bama, A&M. Those 4 teams right there, who wants to play any of those games right
now? No. Nobody. 3rd and 4. Davenport dragged down near the 15-yard line. Explosive play. This offense has been rolling. 4 straight scoring drives. Every drive they've had of the day has ended in UAB territory after a 23-yard gain. Singleton, outstretched right arm, draws a flag. And the frustration there.
Well, you see the tempo starting to take effect right now.
Pass interference, number 23, defense. The ball we place at the 2-yard line. First down.
Donald Lee.
And you just see, you know, the tempo right now. I feel like UAB is starting to tire out on defense. They've been out on the field a lot this second half, and you're not able to get substitutions in. They're going extremely fast. They're going with the pass game. They're going with the run game. You're trying to dictate and figure out what they're doing. And before you know it, those offensive linemen are on top of you from the second-level defenders. And on the outside, those receivers are on top of you.
Byron Brown using that tempo to get all the way down the field, and the finishing touches on a beautiful drive. Nakai Davenport. Party in the end zone, and the Bulls have brought it here in the second half. Exploding for 17 points.
Watch number 56 on this play, Cole Skinner, what he does to number 20, A.J. Brown. You just see him just throw him. And that is what has just happened in the second half. USF has just overpowered this UAB defense.
Well, and it goes back to what you said, though, and they've done it with tempo, too. We talked to Steve Russ yesterday, and he said, you know, we are maniacal preparing for this tempo because we had trouble with it last week against UNT. And once again, they've done an admirable job so far this afternoon. But when you're that good, right, for USF, and you've got power like that, is you continue to chuckle. You guys can't see him, but.
And I love the dance. You got to get your dance on, big fella. Yes. All right, Cole Skinner, 6'5", 325, Point Pleasant, New Jersey. That's what you're supposed to do to a free safety.
Number 3 is wearing number 98 for UAB on the kickoff.
And you do love a team, and this says a lot. There's Davenport's numbers today. He's been outstanding. 12 rushes for 88 yards. But this team is tight, man. I mean, you talk to players, you talk to coaches, you can feel it, right? This USF team, they're like brothers.
And one of the things, if we didn't mention, you talked about it earlier, there's some players that are not playing on the UAB defense because of some of the things that happened earlier in the day, unfortunate circumstances. And that also may be what we see now as far as attrition with this defense.
That is a great point. As far as the ability to withstand energy-wise, UAB up against it today. And for Alex Golish, this fast break offense has hit their stride. Second touchdown drive this half, under a minute. And off the top of the broadcast, we mentioned this is the second fastest team in the country at under 22 seconds of play. Solomon Beebe into the game. We saw Alex Mortensen look at his play sheet. Let's see what he can conjure up here. Blazers on the ropes. Kitna stepping up. That howitzer of an arm. Fires one over the arms of Iverson Hooks.
And I'll tell you what I would like to see more of. Getting the ball to your backs out in the flat. It's kind of an extension of the run game. You want to get your ball to a playmaker one-on-one with the defender. Allow them to try and get up the field. That's where you feel like you can have an advantage, when you get one-on-one. I think when you're trying to get it vertical with what the defensive backs and the safeties have been able to do, bracketing their big play receivers on the outside, Hawkins and Hooks. They just have not been able to be successful.
2nd and 10 inside of 4 minutes in the 3rd quarter. Gang tackle, the definition of it. Mac Harris, first one to get there. Watson also in on the act.
You talk about Mac Harris and Jalen Schuler. These are two guys that combined for 28 tackles last week in that ball game against Navy. You think about that, Schuler 13 tackles, Mac Harris 15 tackles and a fumble recovery. They are dominant from the second level of a defense.
Ryder Burton, giving the defense another look. Brandon Hawkins, who's been so solid this year, had it and dropped it.
And Hawkins saw he had one-on-one on the outside with Jarvis Lee, and he was trying to make a move before gaining possession of that football. And you got to squeeze the football. You've got to get possession of it before you get up the field. That's just a playmaker trying to make a play for his team.
Patrick Foley onto the field, getting ready to punt it away. Porter back deep. Foley gives it a ride. Great kick. Porter calling for the fair catch inside the 30. A little bit of contact and the flags are thrown. Another look. And it looks
Kick
like
interference, number 3, kicking team. 15-yard penalty, first down.
Jalen Ferguson, the cornerback, playing special teams, too close for comfort.
And he slid into him right there, but you've got to pull up just a bit earlier. He didn't mean to hit him on that play.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of acting there. Oscar season, award season coming up. Speaking of awards, give them all to the American on ESPN Plus. That is the home to 40-plus college football games, over 1,000 exclusive live events, and every American Conference championship throughout the season. For more information and to sign up, visit stream.espn.com. Brown, another strike thrown to Singleton. Out route gets him a first down and more. 5th catch of the day for Singleton.
You're seeing the effects on this defense right now. They're not getting a pass rush. Brown is able to survey the field, find where he wants to go with the football.
Oh, ball comes out. And the much-needed turnover. Diving on the football is A.J. Brown. Just the 7th turnover of the year generated by this defense, but man, they needed it bad and came up with it.
And Eddie Tosin once again making a play, punching that ball out. He's made some big plays. He had the sack earlier, and now the big play, running down from behind, pursuing the ball carrier, getting down the field and knocking it out. That's exactly what you asked for from your linebackers.
And Tosin getting the start today. Steve Russ told us yesterday, UAB's defensive coordinator, he has been everywhere and he has earned the role. This is the 5th straight UAB drive that has started at their own 25. Burton rolling out. Tried to fit it in a small window for Jackson. Knocked away, incomplete. Flags are down on the opposite side of the field. I was looking for him on the near side, maybe for PI, but we'll see what happened on the far side near the USF sideline. Busy day for Edwin Lee, our referee.
Ineligible receiver downfield, office number 68. The penalty's declined. Second down.
Center, Adam Lipkowski, at 6'3", 300 pounds, rumbled too far down the field.
And you have to think with Ryder Burton being in the game, a quarterback that runs the football, his thought process is Ryder broke outside of the pocket, he's going to turn it up the field.
And that's where we get some problems with that change. Kitna. Oh! And knocked out his mouth guard. Ferguson headed towards the sideline. DJ Harris delivered the vicious hit. Violent intent. That's how Alex Golesh wants his team to play. Look at this. Like Mike Tyson coming up is DJ Harris.
Yeah, I think it looked worse than it was on that. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt on that one.
Come on, let me cook. First down, first and 10 for UAB.
Now, I will say this, it was beautiful cinema.
It was great cinema, and that is a good-looking offensive play. Hawkins frees himself, catches the ball over the middle, and a little bit of momentum building now for the Blazers.
And I don't think Hawkins was down. I thought they blew the whistle a little prematurely on that play.
So Kitna on the day, and even 14 of 28, 164 yards, no touchdowns and 3 picks. Play fake, looking down the field, throwing down the field. He's got the freshman Elder. Pass interference is the early indication on Knox.
And Knox never turned around and located the football. If he turns around, he sees that this ball is grossly underthrown.
Pass interference, number 1, defense, 15-yard penalty, first down.
You know, Pete, I thought Kitna waited a tad bit too long to release that football. He had the opportunity. His receiver was open much earlier. And when I thought he waited too long to throw the football, it was underthrown. But I think if he lets that ball go maybe 2 or 3 seconds prior, he has his receiver running under the ball for a touchdown.
And it's been that kind of day, that kind of season for UAB and for Kitna. First down nonetheless. Ball's at the 34-yard line. Shotgun formation for Kitna. Drifts out of trouble, now brings it back, escapes pressure at the 50, whips it for Hooks, who slides to a grab right now. They'll say he was in. First down, Blazers.
And awesome footwork by Kitna, extending the play, avoiding the pass rushers, allowing his receivers to get in the scramble mode. You see him avoiding those pass rushers, making them run into each other, continuing to keep his eyes down the field. And you see the rocket for an arm, getting it to his big play receiver Hooks, who comes back to help his quarterback. A good job by both players extending that play and converting that to a first down.
You cannot knock the hustle and heart from Jalen Kitna, keeping just about every play alive. 5th play of the drive. They've already gone 56 yards. Solomon Beebe would love to go 20 more. Surging close to the first down, knocked down at the 12-yard line. 4th red zone trip today for the Blazers. 1 field goal, 1 touchdown, and the interception earlier this half.
And I thought Beebe had an opportunity to plan and get north and south a tad bit earlier than he did. He stretched that play a little bit longer than I would have liked to have seen him stretch it. I thought he could have planted and got north and south earlier.
Well, it's been all Bulls in the 3rd quarter. A lot of dancing and a lot of good reason to. They put up 17 points to the Blazers, nothing. UAB going to try to change that when we come back to Birmingham. It is that time of year. It's not Christmas yet, but it's starting to feel like it. Look at these conference championships. The American, a Friday night affair on December 5th, 8 p.m. on ABC. The Big 12, Saturday, December 6th on ABC. And check it out, the list goes on as we get back to action here. Ryder Burton and UAB in the red zone right now. Bowl-eligible American Conference teams, there are plenty of them. And Solomon Beebe pounding towards the end zone, known for his burst and elusiveness, going over tacklers there close to the goal line.
I mean, you look at all three of these backs for UAB. Jacobs goes at 220, Jackson 210, Beebe 205. They're all behind the pads, square chin, old school football players that look and thrive in contact situations between the tackles.
And they are not short on effort today as Jalen Snokes came flying in to stop that effort towards the goal line. Jalen Kitna back into the football game. 2nd and goal. Beebe, momentum and help from his friends powers him into the end zone. UAB, good for you. 34-16. 8 plays, 75 yards, and a whole lot of heart.
You see what Beebe does? He does a good job of getting behind that left side of the offensive line, following his blockers, getting on the hips of Adam Lipkowski and following him into the end zone. And a good job by the offensive lineman knocking guys back.
And the Blazers will go for 2. Ryder Burton now back into the ball game.
Please set the play clock to 25 seconds. It will start on my signal.
A conversion here gets you within 2 scores at 16 points. Jackson, the running back. Burton gonna keep it and spin into the end zone. 2-point conversion is good, and you can feel the emotion just oozing off the Blazers right now. The lead is 16. UAB still in it. We'll step aside and come back.
Introducing SportsCenter for you, personalized every single day. Now available on the ESPN app. Powered by your favorites.
Huge score for UAB as they have closed the gap to 2 scores. Solomon Beebe, who gave this team some life earlier in the day with a great kickoff return. Has 9 rushes, 30 yards, and the big touchdown. Short kick, coming up and grabbing it at the 20-yard line, call it the 22, a fair catch. And that's where USF will start. There were some adventures last week for the Bulls in special teams and returning kicks. And you can tell Alex Golish and his team with some serious instruction. They will start at the 25 yet again.
And things can get a little tight right here. If UAB can get a 3 and out and get the ball back to their offense, now you start to see, you know, some players start to tighten up a little bit. So this is going to be a very interesting drive for USF. Can they continue to keep it going like they have in the second half?
Brown, real estate to work with, loses the football and hops on it.
And now you're in 2nd and 15 or 14. This is exactly what you want to be. Keep everything in front of you, make the tackle, keep the pressure on the quarterback.
Nice work by Devin Hightower, mirroring Brown and his movement. Brown again with the football, gaining about 6 yards, brings up 3rd and long.
Huge play right here.
Bulls 2 for 6 on 3rd down this afternoon. 3rd and 8 officially. Crowd's engaged here.
And they've got to play gap integrity football right now. Keep your edges, the defensive ends. They've got to keep and maintain those edges. They cannot allow Brown to get to the outside if he keeps the ball.
Let's see what DC Steve Russ dials up for the Blazers. Brown, straight drop. Slings it, 1st down. Jaquan Smith, his first grab of the game, couldn't have come at a better time for Bulls fans. 11 yards.
That's the problem when you face a player like Brown. If you don't get pressure, he has the ability to survey the field and find the matchup that's favorable.
Bulls going fast. Davenport, 4-yard gain. Check that, Isaac. Stopped by Hightower. Pace continues. Brown unloads it, wide open. Rubin makes a tackler miss and glides into the end zone. Another huge play for USF, 59 yards.
And there are a couple of things I think that you can identify right here. You've got a tired defense. You see guys walking, hands on their hips, and we talked about it earlier. And then you've also got a busted coverage on that play because nobody went with Rubin on that play. He's wide open down the sideline. You see the safety trying to get over there towards the end of the play, but nobody went with him on that play. And he had an opportunity to make the tackle, but it also seemed like he was too tired to make the tackle as well.
All about explosion here in the second half. A 60-yard touchdown, a 44-yard passing play, and this 59-yard touchdown for USF. Sirrod Bryant, that's not your fault. You were late to the party, and Mr. Rubin can make people miss. Byron Brown, get all the hydration. You've earned it, brother. A huge day for him once again. After a season best 327 passing yards last week against Navy, closing in on it once again. 326, 3 touchdowns. He was quiet doing it in the first half for us, and now he has been loud.
Well, very methodical with what he does, and he's such a dynamic weapon. You have to be prepared to stop the pass, but when you sit back to try and prevent him from passing the ball, he'll just run the ball on you and beat you up with the run game. So he's just done it all, and that's what makes him such a difficult weapon and such a dynamic weapon for this offense.
And look at the company he's with here. And you consider his measurables like you were talking about. At 6'3", 230, you're just not supposed to move the way that Byron Brown moves, like these guys right here.
Well, you've got an NFL Rookie of the Year. You've got a Super Bowl quarterback. You've got a 2-time MVP. You got Dak Prescott that was looking like he was going to be the MVP this year with the numbers that he put up. And then you've got Byron Brown, who still can come back to USF for another year, although they're trying to keep it a secret. He could come back.
The last 30 years, those were the quarterbacks with 25-plus touchdowns and 2,500 yards as Jackson escapes the pressure. A 5-yard gain. It was funny. We were talking about, because I do believe there was Heisman hype around Brown earlier in the season. So getting ready for these games, we really pour into the history. And I was like, is there a guy who's won a Heisman on a team that hasn't been that prolific? And you have to go all the way back to Paul Hornung, when Notre Dame was 2-8.
To me, sometimes there's too much put on the overall record of a team. It's not a team award. It's who is the best player in college football. And he should definitely be in the conversation of who is the best player in college football. When you look at the numbers that he's put up, when you look at the competition that he's played, and you look at what he's done when they've played the toughest of the competition that they've played.
I couldn't agree with you more. And you think about it, this is a team that if they had beaten Navy last week, as Jackson just gets absolutely tattooed by Schuler, if they had beaten Navy last week, they would have had almost a 50% chance of making the college football playoff. And here they are back again after taking that body blow, 41-18.
And he's put up dynamic numbers once again.
Trips to the top of the screen. 2nd and 10 for Kitna and company. Pressure coming. Kitna escapes it. Looking over his shoulder for some of the pressure coming. Do-si-do's out of bounds at the 44-yard line. First down.
And I like what Kitna did right there. He looked back to make sure he didn't have anyone pursuing him that would be trying to knock the ball out from the back. Too often quarterbacks don't hold the ball high and tight, which is what a running back is supposed to do, and also switching it to your outside arm towards the sideline. So if it does get punched out, it's punched out of bounds.
The rolling of the field as the line of the game was not made. It'll be 3rd down. We'll reset the change.
Ouch. They're going to say he stepped out of bounds before the line to gain. 3rd and 2. And the UAB sideline, and Alex Mortensen not happy. Alex Mortensen, great chat with him yesterday. Was real transparent. Said, man, I hadn't slept much in the last month. He's the OC, the quarterback's coach, and now he's the head coach. He's doing a tremendous job, and he said, but I'll tell you, sometimes I think to myself, am I doing anything? Well, I'm doing so much different stuff. And it was real cool. Got a chance to talk to him about his dad, obviously a pioneer in NFL media, and asked him, hey, what would your dad tell you about this situation? And he said, my father really, when it came to me and the people he loved, was just all about effort, right? Like after I played a high school basketball game, he would call me from the road when he wasn't coaching me as a kid and say, what kind of effort did you give? And you and I both, crazy about his dad. And whenever he came on the screen when we were kids, it was awesome because he had breaking news and he was also real cool.
The Mort Report, baby.
Yeah.
Everybody knew about the Mort Report.
So now we got it at 1st and 10. Jackson knocked down to the turf, taking his legs out, coming up, making a big play, and kind of loosening up the shoulders right there is Jonas DeClona.
But I like that play because you're getting the ball to a playmaker out in space. That was just a good defensive play to get him down before he could get north and south and try and make a move. But that's an extension of the run play, getting the ball to a playmaker in space as opposed to continuing to try and run it in between the tackles.
Second and 8. Slinging it to the left side. Jacobs had it and lost it. Been that kind of day as we move into the evening now. The sun has set on Birmingham and certainly feels like it's set on the Blazers here.
And Jacobs tried to catch that with his hands, and maybe that's a cradle catch as opposed to catching that with his hands. And maybe the velocity of the football bothered him on that play. But it's still a play where you should make the catch.
Blazers 7 of 12 on third down. Kidding, a little bit of happy feet there, but still finds hooks. Breaking tackles, running towards space, staying on his feet. Jarvis Lee gave him a shoulder shake and finally put him down, but that almost didn't do it.
And that was a 0-on-0 play right there. Good job by Hooks finding the open space, making a couple of jukes, and then you see number 0 for USF. Jarvis Lee say, okay, enough is enough.
14 yards felt like 14 minutes. Kitna fires it right side, hooks again. 10th catch.
And Kitna's doing a good job of extending the play. Hook's doing a better job of making himself a target for his quarterback.
10 catches, 146 yards for Hooks.
Good job finding him on that out route.
Solomon Beebe is your running back. Kitna under serious pressure. Woo. That would have been coast to coast right there, making a big play. All over that one. You just can't get in the way of Jalen Stokes.
And I don't think Jalen Stokes expected him to throw the football because there was no offensive player in the vicinity to be able to catch that ball. He would have had to put more on that ball, put it way to the outside for an offensive player to be able to make a play on that football. So I think Jalen Stokes was as surprised as we were that he let that football go.
Jackson moves towards daylight and is tossed down at the 2-yard line. 3rd and goal coming up. 12th play of the drive coming up. They moved the ball 72 yards. Ryder Burton back into the game.
And Burton brings in the versatility of the quarterback keeper, something that has to keep the defense honest.
Touchdown and a 2-point takes it down to a 2-score game. Burton gonna keep it. Stacked up, Rodney Hill. Arrives in ill humor.
Burton, you've got to run with your shoulder pads low. You can't run up in the middle high like that. You've got Rodney Hill, the linebacker, coming downhill on that play. Linebackers welcome backs running in high between the tackles.
13th play of the drive, second 12-play drive of the game for UAB. The first one ended in a punt. Alex Mortensen hoping this one will end differently. Jalen Kitna under center.
South Florida.
USF calls a timeout.
Timeout on the field.
And there's Todd Orlando going to talk it over. A product of Barry Alvarez when he played at Wisconsin. USF in control. Huge one tonight in the American Conference, where we've seen fireworks all year long. Look forward to some tonight. Drew Mestermaker and 9-1 North Texas travel to Rice to take on Quentin Jackson in a conference showdown. 7:30 Eastern time on ESPNU. The numbers don't lie. Mestermaker has been lights out. Here we go. Huge fourth down. Kitna sending guys in motion. Looks to his right. Into the end zone. No. The pass is caught, but it's at the 1-yard line.
And the receiver has to know you've got to get into the end zone. Poor decision by Elijah Lag to pull up on that route. You've got to get into the end zone knowing that the defender is going to be immediate with contact as soon as you get possession of the football.
And great work there in coverage by USF. Jalen Stokes again. We've been calling his name a lot. So with inside of 6 minutes left, Byron Brown and the Bulls will look to salt this one away. Here's Davenport moving over the left side and moving the line of scrimmage with him. That's usually a pretty good sign for the offense.
Right now, if you're USF, all you want to do is get the ball out of the shadow of your end zone. You, of course, would like to convert a first down, but if you don't, you want to get the ball out of the end zone, give your punter room to punt the football. Great job on first down, getting 8 yards, putting you in a very favorable second down. But that was the key on that first down, not getting caught, not giving up penetration and giving up a safety, but moving the football.
Brown under center. Davenport again. Davenport changes direction, tried to bounce it to the right side, but the swarming Blazer defense stacks him up. Hightower. Another stop for him.
A good job by the Blazers getting penetration and getting push at the point of attack, not allowing those offensive linemen to win at the point of attack. Low man wins. The first person to make contact usually wins. A good job by that defensive front, getting up the field pressure. Kyle Mosley and those guys are doing a good job on this drive.
And while Brown has continued on his heater throwing the football, the team's leading rusher has given way to Davenport today, and a huge third down conversion, threading the needle.
And on a down where you play-wise thought that they would run the football, a good job of finding the receiver in the middle of that coverage to convert that first down.
First catch of the day for Eccles. And I mentioned Brown, the team's leading rusher, came into the game with 841 yards. Leading the team today is Davenport, and Singleton almost brings it in with one hand, and there's laundry everywhere. Delvin Gully in coverage.
Pass interference, number 18. Defense, 15-yard penalty, first down.
And you felt like USF had just kind of lulled the Blazers to sleep before those last two plays.
And that was almost like a back shoulder throw, and Gully is grabbing. They're both kind of grabbing at each other. But Gully was behind the play, a back shoulder throw. And I think that is why they got the call on that play.
False start, number 11. Offense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
So Keyshawn Singleton, he was extremely animated before that last play when we saw all the penalty flags, was hopping up and down, basically trying to show Byron Brown, I really like this matchup. And I think he was animated once again there and got hit with the flag. Motion from Eccles. Another whistle.
I think he got movement by Cole Skinner, number 56.
False start, number 56. Offense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
And that happens a lot when you're pulling, you get excited. You know he's got to get up, he's got to open up that hip.
To 358, 358.
And get depth. And you saw right there, he's trying to open up and get depth with that. A part of that is because of penetration and not wanting to get caught up in the bunch right there, but you've got to wait till the ball is snapped.
23 penalties collectively for these two teams. Brown going to sling it to the right side. Once again finds Rubin. And it has been an unsatisfying Reuben sandwich for the back seven of UAB today. This young man right now, when you talk about Mudia, 5 catches, 175 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Well, you know what's special about Reuben? This is a guy that was recognized nationally as a soccer player prior to his junior year where he started playing football in high school. So he's got excellent feet, and you see it with the big plays that he's been able to make throughout this afternoon.
Citizenship.
Timeout for an injury to a defensive player.
So we got an injury timeout, a player down. You see the UAB staff giving assistance, and up on his feet. That is good news. Looks like it's just a shoulder injury. And that was Eddie Tucson. But back to Reuben. He has been unbelievable. And he's got citizenship, by the way, in the U.S., Canada, and Nigeria.
When you look at the footwork, you know, you talk about the nimbleness of this guy. 6'2", 210 pounds. He's able to break tackles, run through guys. He was a triple jumper as well, so you know that shows the explosion that he has. And here, just a broken play right there, and the ability to stop and go right there. And he's a long strider. So once he gets into the open field, you're not going to catch him.
Yeah, so Reuben, 5 catches, 175 yards, 2 touchdowns. I mentioned the citizenship in the Canada, U.S., and Nigeria. He's now got a residence in Birmingham.
Timeout, South Florida. We're second of the half, 30 seconds.
And there are those numbers. Career day for him, coming out of nowhere, the transfer from Stanford. And that's part of the problem when you're playing USF, is any of these guys for us can explode on you, partially because they're playmakers, but then you got Byron Brown back there.
Absolutely. You got a guy averaging over 34 yards of reception. You've got a 6'3", 235-pound, Cam Newton-like quarterback. You've got, dynamic backs in the backfield that he's handing the ball off. Not to mention Singleton, who leads the team in receptions and yards, at 6'3", 215 pounds. Koger, 6'3", 209 pounds. I mean, they've just got weapons all over the field. And you go to the tight end room. Wyatt Sullivan, 6'4", 245. Jonathan Eccles, 6'6", 235. I mean, they just have playmakers all over the field.
Brown, pump fakes. Takes it back up the middle. Breaks free across the 50. Guided out of bounds inside the 40. He is not done yet.
And with all of those guys I just named, once again, you've got to deal with a quarterback that's going to have 3,000 yards passing and 1,000 yards rushing. He definitely should be in the conversation once again. We talked about it earlier when you talk about Heisman Trophy candidates, because he is one of the, if not the best player in college football. He should be in that conversation with the production that we've seen from him.
4 straight games with 100 yards rushing. Has 61 now. If he could reach 5, it would be a school record. Davenport churning out the yardage, thrown down outside the 10. Looking at Brown, he does remind me of your old teammate Charlie Ward, like the number 17 maybe, and just how shifty he is. How much better did he make your receivers? We'll get to that when we get back. We got to take a break. 2-minute timeout. There's Alex Golish. We'll talk Bulls when we return. South Florida in control. What a wild ride it has been this year for USF. It started off with a huge win against Boise State. They were 25th ranked at the time. Then they beat number 13 Florida. And then they lost to number 5 Miami, 49-12, but bounced right back. 48.2 points in conference games. South Florida has been lethal this year. They've averaged 44 points on the road this year. And again, doing it today kind of snuck up on you, but here we are, 41-18. Brown. Wow, look at that little misdirection. Shades of the fumble-rooski, but the ball was handed off and close to a touchdown. Surging there was Derek Bowman.
You gotta love it for the big fella. Woo! Comes around, gets the pitch. You see the big guy getting to the outside. You gotta get to the end zone. You gotta get to the pylon, big fella. Put your shoulders down, get square, and get to the end zone.
So the pass to Kroger and the quick flip. Man, that was close.
Now, the only thing that's bad about it, he's in the tent now, so it looked like he may have hurt himself. Hope he's going to be okay.
Absolutely. 2nd and 1 from the 2. Brown deflected, batted back right in his face.
And, you know, getting back to that early part of that schedule, we know Florida's season hasn't turned out as great as they thought it would, but during that time, they were a healthy ball club. They've had some injuries which has, you know, resulted in what we've seen, and of course, Coach Napier being let go. But to me, that's one of the toughest first 3-game schedules that any team had in college football. You look at what South Florida faced.
And another touchdown for South Florida. 47-18 is the score. A 2-yard run for Brown, who continues to pile up the points and the stats and the touchdowns. His 4th of the day.
And you see his ability to break tackles and just, you know, dance on into the end zone. Such a dynamic weapon.
Yeah, that's a great point you brought up about Florida. They were running hot when USF went into Gainesville. Hey, there he is. Good to see he's all right. That's Derek Bowman.
But you know, his offensive line makes it tell him, come on, man, you got to square your shoulders up, man. You can't go towards the out of bounds saying you should be able to run over anybody. You got a good head of steam going. You're coming around the edge. You got to turn that corner, bend that corner, man.
.30-point advantage for USF, and they have won in style frequently this year. They've had 10 wins over the course of the past, I should say, since the beginning of last year. They've had 10 wins of 25-plus points. That's 3rd most in the FBS over that span. Only Indiana, they've got 12 of 25 or more. Ohio State, they've got 11, and they're tied with Notre Dame for 10. And they've hit their average of 48 points per game in the conference. Touchback. So the drive will start at the 25. Alex Golish, obviously a lot of attention around him right now as coaching rumors are concerned. And he's very quick to allocate credit and says, hey, that's because of my kids. This team is amazing. Nate Rogers into the game for UAB. Amari Brundage on the carry. Brundage again, close to a 1st down. 6 foot 225 redshirt freshman, stopped by Smith. So it's all academic right now. You have to like what you saw from USF tonight, Forrest.
Well, they are as advertised. You know, they've got a dynamic weapon at the quarterback position. He's got a bunch of weapons. He spreads the ball out extremely well. And defensively, they get up the field. They attack ball carriers. They attack quarterbacks. They bring a variety of pressures. They show you something pre-snap and show you something different post-snap. So you have to constantly be thinking as an offensive player playing against this defense.
USF 340 second half yards. They have just been excellent.
And also the adjustments that they made at halftime to come out and have such a dominant second half.
So that should do it. Maybe one more play. Rogers gets it off and zings it down the field, falling incomplete, and that'll do it.
And you talked about it with this team. You see those guys jumping up on the sideline, hoping that their guy can make that catch. That is what you look for, camaraderie. They're going to lose the football game, but they're still into it, hoping that a guy that doesn't get a lot of time is able to make a big catch.
Yeah, that was Iverson Hooks right there, and there's Alex Mortensen and Alex Golish. Byron Brown, fantastic today. Finishes the game with 353 yards and 3 touchdowns, no interceptions on the ground. He did just as well. 14 carries, 63 yards. They are the standings right now on your screen. USF improves to 8-3 overall, 5-2 in the American, and UAB. A rough season for this football program and a rough day all around for folks at UAB. They showed amazing will and heart out there today on the football field. A difficult day, tough loss on senior day. For Forrest Conley and our entire squad, I'm Pete Souza. Final score, USF 48, UAB 18. Have a good night, everyone.